Leonard Scott will be back there along with Tinsley. Derek Tinsley and Leonard Scott to receive. Scott is not 100%, as Terrence pointed out in the pregame comments, but he's in there, Terrence.
And Tinsley, Bob, he's a guy, he's a backup tailback, but he's elusive. Has a lot of speed. He's picked up several pounds since he came on the campus, so he's a bigger player than we have in Winston.
White kicks off for Memphis, and it's a nice one, a yard deep into the end zone. Out to the 10, and shy of the 15. Terrific coverage by Memphis as they swarm downfield. 14 yards on the return. Tinsley on the return. The Tennessee offense. Coleman, Weary is in there. Wells, Herrera, and Offenhusel. For the Tennessee up front guys. Casey Clausen at quarterback, Travis Stevens at tailback, Bartholomew, Finlinson at tight end, and the wideouts are Dante Stallworth and Eric Parker. But we'll see a number of wide receivers for Tennessee in the course of the day. They line up with a two-receiver set in the eye, and they're going to throw out of it right away. Complete. Out to Dante Stallworth, up to about the 34-yard line. Nice timing pattern. Tennessee picks up a first down. The Memphis defense, it's led by Tony Brown. Terrific defensive end. Taylor Glover and Rowand rounded out up front. Very active linebackers, and Shank in the middle is perhaps the best of the bunch. In the secondary, watch for Glenn Sumter, leading interceptor with 4 on the season. Here is Clausen rolling and throwing, complete to Bartholomew. Bartholomew got a first down for Tennessee. Safety valve to his fullback.
And a really good decision by Clausen. He had 3 options there. He had Dante Stallworth. He also had Jason Witten, but he took the safe dump off with Will Bartholomew. I really like Randy Sanders' first 2 plays that he's called in this ballgame.
Take another look at the first completion of the day.
Memphis rolls up in a cover 2, and they try to get a bump on Dante Stallworth. He gets a good release, Bob. A good catch and a good fresh start for Tennessee, a 21-yard pickup.
Tennessee moving with the football. Clausen, little pass out on the flat. Down across midfield. Down to the 46-yard line is Travis Stevens throwing to his tailback coming out of the backfield.
You would like to see Clausen get this ball to Stevens a little quicker. He needs to throw this more on a rope, get the ball in his hands, give him an opportunity to find a running lane a little quicker than he was able to.
Tennessee with the football, moving downfield into Memphis territory. Memphis secondary, perhaps the strength of this team. Here is Stevens. Nice step outside, down the sidelines. And Marcus Smith, left cornerback, finally runs him out of bounds as they move the chains again.
You know, Travis Stevens didn't have the kind of day against Notre Dame that he would like to have had. But Notre Dame was definitely trying to stop the run against Tennessee. You just see his ability there, Bob, and a little stutter step frees the defender, allows him to pick up some more yards. Just good blocking up front there by Bartholomew and the Tennessee offensive line, and a great block by Kelly Washington downfield. The Tennessee wide receivers really do a good job of blocking downfield.
Lawson back to throw. Firing, got a man there a little bit too high. Intended for Jason Witten, his tight end, inside the 10-yard line, but Witten couldn't reach it.
I tell you, Tennessee's really opening things up here, Bob. They spread the field, and they're trying to find a matchup with Witten down the middle of the field. Clausen just overthrows him a little bit, but it was also good coverage by the Memphis secondary.
All right, Tennessee with the football. Casey Clausen in a shotgun, maybe checking off. Got a 3-receiver set. Got protection, rolls right, throws, got a man there, a little bit low, but did he catch it? No. Intended for Bobby Graham, and it's uncatchable if Graham didn't come up with it.
He almost had a great catch, Bob, almost a great one-hand catch. But again, it was too low, and that's a difficult throw for Clausen. He's on the move. Graham's coming across the field. A difficult throw.
Tennessee with the football on the 35-yard line of the Memphis Tigers, now looking at a 3rd and 10. So here comes a big down for the Tennessee offense. And a big down, you could say, for the Memphis defense as well. Volunteers have moved briskly downfield, but have been stopped now. They throw over the middle, complete to Washington. Washington with a first down, just shy of the 15-yard line. Nice combination all year for Tennessee, and it works again right here.
Just a good pickup, a good release by Kelly Washington. He's going to push down and run a crossing route, just sits in between the linebackers. A good throw. Tennessee has just been outstanding since the Alabama game on third down, Bob. Since the Alabama game, they were 15 or 20 on third down.
Glenn Sumter made the stop. He's the free safety, the leading tackler. He's got 4 interceptions on the year. I think he will be playing on Sunday one of these days. Tennessee, 2 receivers set to the right. Lawson wants to throw again. Got plenty of time. Fires back of the end zone. Is he in? Yes, he is. Touchdown, Tennessee. Jason Witten. So Tennessee marches downfield, almost all of it on the arm of Casey Clausen. Obviously, Terrence, they saw something in the Memphis defense thinking they could throw the ball today, and they did.
And I think, Bob, they may have gone back to the second half of the Notre Dame football game when things just opened up. They opened up the offense, and they were able to move the football very easily down the football field. And they come out today, they said they want to get a fast start, and they do.
Seth Reagan will hold. Alex Walls will kick. It's on the way, and it is good. Tennessee leads 7-0. This is CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. As we all know, the kicking game has not been exactly what Tennessee wants in this season. It's been inconsistent. The punting in particular, Walls has been pretty consistent. But they're not getting a whole lot out of the kick return department and punt return. They have been covering kicks a lot better, Terrence, in the last 2 ball games.
They've been covering kicks a lot better, but Bob, Ryan Johnson is a threat. He had a return last year in the Tennessee ball game, a 50-yard return that set up a score for Memphis.
This is Harden, and he's going to be racked by Tennessee inside the 15-yard line.
Go back and look at the touchdown. Clausen finds Witten open, and this is an unbelievable catch by Jason Witten, Bob, for a big tight end. Able to catch the ball, and I don't know if he got his feet in.
You only have to have 1 in college, remember.
Clausen does a good job of looking off the safety and goes back to Witten. And let's see if he got his foot in. I guess he did.
14 yards on that return for Memphis. Now the handoff to the tailback, and he is smashed. Dante Brown really hit right in his tracks. If anything, he lost a half a yard. Look at Big Haynesworth in there. He's getting better and better every ball game. Let's take a look at the Memphis offensive line. Marshall, Hicks, and Pugh. Hicks and Pugh, really veterans. Gerta is coming on strong. Suber starts at quarterback. Big guy, weighs 238 pounds. Dante Brown is your tailback, and the wideouts do a nice job as well. Here is the play going wide to the right, nowhere to go. Tennessee just hemmed it in and waited for Ryan Johnson and dropped him. Tennessee's defense up front, Jackson, Henderson, Haynesworth, and Overstreet. The linebackers, Kevin Burnett gets the start today. Dominic Stevenson and Eddie Moore. Burnett starting ahead of Whiteside. In the backfield, Gaines replaces the injured Andre Lott, along with Greer, Battle, and Baker. Those 2 safeties have been also getting better and better for Tennessee each ball game. Battle had a sensational game at Notre Dame. Here is Suber in the shotgun. Fires complete. Slant play up across the 30-yard line to Bunky Perkins. And it is complete for a first down. Perkins, 5'9", weighs only 155 pounds. 14 yards on this one.
And Bunky is their leading receiver, Bob. And that's something that's given Tennessee trouble all year, is that quick slant route.
Suber at quarterback. In the I formation, pitches to his tailback. Got some running room across the 40 out to about the 42-yard line before he is dropped. Dante Brown, the tailback. Flag is down, and the flag is down to back around the 28-yard line. Coach Fulmer looking on here. He knows what this Memphis game the danger in it for Tennessee, the danger that's been.
Illegal motion on the offense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Well, you heard it, illegal motion against the Tigers, so Memphis will be backed up 5 yards. That's a big penalty, Terrence, because had a nice play working there.
It is, Bob, and we wondered about Tennessee coming out. Would they be flat? Offensively, they look great. So far on defense, they've looked really good, Bob. It may not have helped that Memphis came out at the beginning of the football game and danced on the tee in the middle of the field.
Well, we'll see. Here's a reverse, and he's got some running room. Taking a pass, but he's not going to pass. He's going to run all the way. It is Harden. Antoine Harden got up to just shy of the 40-yard line. It was a strange developing play. Took a long time to develop, but Tennessee kind of got sucked in on it.
I think they were wanting to throw off of this. This is a little reverse to the wide receiver, Bob, and you're right. It took forever, and they were wanting to throw a pass off it, but Julian Battle did really good at the corner, makes him tuck it, and Tennessee does a good job, Bob, of shutting it down.
So Memphis now looking at a second down and, about 4 yards to go for a first down. Suber out of the shotgun, fires incomplete. Tennessee had nice coverage on it that time. A late flag comes in. Travis Anglin, a former quarterback, was the intended receiver. Teddy Gaines may have been a little too close on him. The officials will confirm.
That was definitely a late flag, but this is going to give Tennessee trouble all day.
Holding on the defense.
They call holding on Gaines.
Bob, that inside, that quick slant is tough
defense,
to stop.
If a 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. First and 10.
If you don't take away the inside.
Let's see if we can pick it up right here.
Tennessee
Teddy Gaines is number 12.
Teddy Gaines is playing him straight up and definitely got a handful of jersey.
So it's a first down and 10 to go for Memphis. Tigers moving with the football just shy of midfield. Tennessee corners cheating up and covering closely, and close enough on that one because it's incomplete. Garcia was the intended receiver, and Julian Battle, number 14, the defender for Tennessee. Volunteers leading 7-0. We're in the first quarter. Sun-baked day in East Tennessee, homecoming. And Neil Suber's numbers on the year, actually they have 4 quarterbacks on the roster, and they've used 3 of them quite a bit this year. And we will see the freshman Wimprine at some point in this ball game. He started the last 3. Suber, a little bit of pressure, fires a little too quickly. As receiver intended for Cameron, but he was pretty well covered out there, Terrence. Looked like Tennessee was ready for that play.
And they did a good job, Bob. And it's going to take a while for Tennessee to settle down defensively because of what Memphis does offensively, Bob. They're so multiple. They use so many different sets, and they do so many different things out of those sets.
No huddle on this one as they will be facing a 3rd and 10 situation. They converted on a 3rd down earlier. Going to I backfield with 2 receivers set to the bottom of the screen. He's got time. He's looking. He's throwing too high. Had a man out there intended for Harden, Antoine Harden, but overshot him. Would have been enough for a first down by about a yard or 2.
And for the year, Bob, Memphis has converted on 3rd down only 32% of the time on 3rd down. So that goes along with what we just saw on 3rd down there.
James Gaither is the punter for Memphis, 6'4", 220-pound freshman. Rashad Baker is back to receive for Tennessee. Gaither is standing on his 35-yard line. Steps into it and got off an action. Baker signals score and takes it on a fair catch at about the 12-yard line, where the Vols will put it in play. First down and 10. You're watching CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. 5 of 7 for 76 yards and a touchdown. He had 5 different receivers in that last drive downfield for Tennessee. So that goes back to what you mentioned, Terrence, at the beginning. They do have the full complement of receivers now, and that hasn't been the case except in the last couple of ball games.
And it hasn't, and they've had Washington early, and teams have been able to double Washington, try to take him out of the offense. You can't do that now because of the emergence of the other wide receivers and the tight end with him.
Barely got off his pass, got hit just as he threw it, and it's incomplete, intended for Dante Stallworth. Got a big rush from Tony Brown. As we said earlier, he's the best of the front guys up there, 6'3", 274.
And he leads Memphis with 4 sacks, and Troy Fleming just does not get a block on him.
Troy Fleming and Will Bartholomew alternating at fullback for Tennessee. Bartholomew suffered a slight concussion in the second half of the Notre Dame game, but he has already played today. Hand off in the middle, and coming up across the 20 is Troy Fleming, up to about the 21 or 2 yard line before he is knocked down. It's going to be a gain of about 9 yards for Tennessee. A little bit shy of a first down.
Tennessee does a good job up front. You see here the pull by Weary. Just a good job there by Wells and John Finlayson. Good blocking, Bob. When your free safety is your leading tackler with 98 tackles on the year, that tells you there's a lot of gushing holes in your defense somewhere.
Fleming is lining up as a tailback now, and he takes the snap and gets the first down as he crossed the 25 up to the 27-yard line before Jason Brown, strong safety, made the stop for Memphis. Take another look.
Just another Philip Fulmer style running play, Bob. Just right up the middle, taking it right to Memphis, establishing both the run and the pass. The first drive, as you said, Tennessee opened it up, Bob. They threw the ball almost every down. This drive, they're going and establishing the run.
Fleming listed as 220 in the program. He actually weighs about 234, 235. Whitten sliding down the line in motion. Casey stands up, fires, is complete in the flat. It's going to be enough for another first down. Out to Montrell Jones, a true freshman from the state of Kentucky. 12 yards, and Montrell gets his first down for Tennessee.
Just a little quick out by Montrell Jones, and he does a good job, Bob, of finding the football with the sun in his eyes. Does a good job of running with the football, not shying away from contact.
It's a little bit strange right here now because the press box, the giant press box and sky boxes, are casting a shadow over about half of the football field. The other half in bright sunshine can be a problem for receivers and defensive backs and kick returners. Right now, Tennessee has called a timeout in this ball game, and we're still in the first quarter of play with the Volunteers on top 7-0. CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. All right, Tennessee with the football just shy of the 40-yard line. Looking now to first down and 10 situation. Lawson mixing it up nicely. Hands off, tailback. That's Travis Stevens. Got running room across the 45 to the 46 before Tony Brown, left defensive end, chased him down and made the stop. Travis Stevens continues to have just a phenomenal year for Tennessee.
Just a big year, Bob, and he's having such a good year. He's run himself onto the Doak Walker Candidate Award list, and you see here just his toughness and what he's displayed all year. He's very good after first contact, Bob. Not many guys you see there. Shank missing, going to bring him down. Not the first tackle.
Tennessee now looking at a 2nd and 4, and they throw it out here in the flat, and Memphis covers it beautifully. Absolutely nowhere for Eric Parker to go except down. So they'll be facing a 3rd down situation now, and still at least 3 yards to go for a first.
And I think this ball is tipped by Tony Brown, so Eric Parker does a good job of preventing an interception.
At halftime, the alumni band will join the UT band. We'll have some other features for you, but it is homecoming. Beautifully decorated campus here at Tennessee and Knoxville. Fake to the tailback, throws it out in the flat. Dante Stallworth looks like he has the first down. He needed 3, and I think he got 3.5. Stallworth has taken that cast off, it appears. He has been playing with a soft cast, maybe a little bit of one there. He's at least heavily taped on both wrists, but doesn't seem to be affecting his catching, Terrence.
It doesn't, and a bubble screen to Dante Stallworth, good enough to pick up the first down. And I tell you what, when Dante Stallworth came back, Bob, you saw the Tennessee passing game just take off. That shows you how much he means to them offensively if they're going to throw the football. Came
back in the Alabama game, caught a touchdown pass right away in that one and really set the stage. Tennessee fires out in the flat to Kelly Washington. Loose football. I believe the Vols have recovered it. Looked like it shook loose there for a second. And Fred Weary, I think, came up with it.
Tennessee
Fred Weary saved the day, Terrence.
Going with a little trickery, and they get it out to Kelly Washington. He doesn't put the ball away. That's the thing. He's a freshman, Bob. He hasn't played football in a while. He should have that ball in his outside arm. Had the ball inside, and that's where the defenders are coming from.
Left end Lucas, who's a backup to Tony Brown, was in on the strip of the football that time for Memphis. Clausen hands off to Travis Stevens. A quick pop, and Stevens got cut down by Glenn Sumter from strong safety. I'm telling you, this guy is excellent. Free safety, I should say. He is a terrific player. Had he not made that tackle, Travis is in the end zone.
If Glenn Sumter's not there, it's a touchdown. Just a great open field tackle, one-on-one on Travis Stevens.
Travis needs 46 yards to break the 1,000 mark on the season. Still got Vanderbilt, Kentucky, and Florida remaining on the schedule after this. So that's a cinch. Here's Witten. Almost brought it in on the second try, but not quite. Incomplete pass. Tennessee has thrown more to the tight end this year than they have the last 4 or 5 years combined.
They go with play action, and I'm not sure that the defender didn't get there before the football. It was close.
Yeah, he might have. It was probably too close to call, but it was very close. Third down and 7 for Tennessee. 4:16 remaining in this quarter, which is the first. Bob Bell here along with Terrence Cleveland bringing you the action from Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. Last 3 ball games have really been something in this series. Tennessee's won 2 of them by a grand total of 3 points, and Memphis won that other one in '96. And what was their biggest win ever?
Please reset the game clock to 4:28. 4:28, please.
So they're adding, it's currently 4:16. They're resetting the clock to 4:28. Clausen now has hit 7 different receivers here in the first quarter of play, including the freshman Montrell Jones.
Bob, if I thought I could get down and get my old uniform on, I'd go get in line.
Well, you were a good one, buddy.
Only one problem. They didn't throw the football in there. If you ask any wide receiver, they'll say that.
Tennessee, 2 receivers set to the right, 1 to the top of your screen. And the full house backfield. Fake it to Travis Stevens. Got time. Throws. Got his man. Down to the 15 goes Bobby Graham, and down close to the 10-yard line. Bobby, big play Graham. He literally won a game here against Memphis. Remember, T. Martin hit him on a 53-yard pass in the last few seconds, and then a guy from Memphis, Cedric Wilson, caught a touchdown to win it. 27 yards on that one.
Bob, in the middle of the field is wide open, and Graham does a good job of beating the defender and getting open in the middle of the field. Memphis is concentrating so much on the outside on Kelly Washington and Dante Stallworth trying to double with their safeties that the middle of the field is going to be open for Tennessee all day.
It's leaving Witten and people like Graham open in there. You're right. All right, Tennessee now is first down and 10, or first and goal, actually. And timeout is going to be called by the Vols. They take their second here. I'm not sure why you would take one at this point unless they had the wrong personnel on the field or maybe too many men. But anyway, they did take a look. Tennessee leading. Here's Vols' dominance on the year against their opponents. Points, first downs, rushing yards, passing edge, and everything. Really a big edge in time of possession. That has been a key for Tennessee this year. And also, as Terrence, you mentioned earlier, they've done a marvelous job on third down conversions, especially of late. Clausen is now 10 of 14 for 128 yards, and we're still in the first quarter.
Coach Fumo, when he talks about Casey Clausen, he said he's a gamer. He's tough as nails, and the kid wants to play football. And the thing you like about him, the thing that I've noticed is no matter what he does in a football game, he never gets rattled. He keeps his composure.
Tennessee cannot make a first down. They have to score. They're right on the 10-yard line. Clausen's numbers, as we gave them to you right there. Very impressive first quarter for Clausen. and for his receivers. They put one receiver on the right. They put Witten in motion. Clausen stands up, looks. He's going to try to run, and he gets caught at the 10-yard line and dropped for practically no gain by DeMario Shank, the middle linebacker, who is a good one. Shank has great lateral movement, and it's a quarterback with Clausen's speed is not going to outrun him. So Tennessee now looks at a second down and still almost 10 yards to go for a touchdown. Second and goal. Ball's up 7-0. They're in certainly easy field goal range, but that's not what they're thinking right now. Here's the pitch back to Travis Stevens. Got a wall out in front of him, and he drives to short of the 5-yard line, about the 6, before Marcus Smith, cornerback, came up to make the stop. Travis had some pretty good blocking out there. It looked like Terrence very early. That might be the play they were looking for.
Very early, he had Bartholomew and also Weary out in front of him. He did a good job of finding a seam, because that was a sweep into the short field, and the field got really short on him. Did a good job of picking up something when there wasn't anything there.
It's third down and goal at the 6-yard line. I would think passing situation right here. Clausen steps back, looks, got time, fires. Incomplete. Was it intercepted? It was. And it's going to be a nice return all the way up to midfield. Before being knocked down is who else? Glenn Sumter, the free safety. So Tennessee blows an opportunity for a touchdown, and in doing so turns it over. Jason Witten couldn't handle it down there, and Tommy West now feels good about his team.
And Bob, I don't know that we can give Casey Carlson the credit on this interception. I think he throws the ball to Witten. Witten just takes a shot. A little delay route to the tight end, and he takes a shot. They're going to
let's take another look.
Send Witten out, Bob, and he's going to delay and come back inside. And when he does, he takes a shot.
An illegal block below the waist on the return of the interception.
There was a flag. Memphis blocking below the waist on the return of Sumter, and so it's going to be, instead of up
illegal
around
block below the
midfield,
waist on the
it'll be
return
pulled
of the
back to the 29-yard line.
That's a 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Memphis ball, 1st and 10.
Big break for Memphis, and then a little bit of a tough break. Correction on that. The ball is actually spotted on about the 18-yard line. It was from the spot of foul, not from where the flag was dropped. So Memphis thwarts Tennessee's effort to get in the end zone, and they take over. Tennessee defensively smothers the ball carrier Dante Brown. Constantine Richmond, one of the first to get to him. Big number 6 defensive end, who alternates with Overstreet. Let's take another look at that turnover, Terrence.
I think the defender, the linebacker, Shank, gets there at the same time the football gets there. And Sumter's just in a great position to pick off the interception.
Sumter's a big-time player. Suber's still operating at quarterback. The big guy, 238 pounds, 6'3". He has played here before. He doesn't like what he sees and calls a Memphis timeout.
I think you take them out of the football game.
You certainly send a very message to them, which would be for them a very discouraging message. But instead, they took the ball away, and they have it right now. 2nd down and 13 for Memphis. Suber firing long. This could be intercepted, and is by Julian Battle. Battle had it all the way. You could see him waiting for it like a center fielder in baseball.
Bob, we may have to change his name to Mr. November.
So, in the offseason and in the August workouts, he improved dramatically and has gotten better in every ball game in that department. There's Clausen being pressured and knocked down back at the 50-yard line. Memphis didn't go for the fake at all. Pinchon and Brown made the stop for Memphis. Ball's up 7-0. They took the opening drive and went right downfield. Since then, they have been bogged down a little bit. Let's take another look, Terrence.
Tennessee goes with the play-action pass, and they forget to block, Bob. They just opened the floodgates, and Clausen had nowhere to go with the football.
Tennessee now looking at a 2nd and 17. So it's definitely, you would think, air it out time for Clausen right here. He fires on the slant. Got a man wide open and dropped it. Intended for Eric Parker, who was right there and probably gone for 6. But he dropped it. He was right on the edge of the sunshine. I'm trying to look for an excuse for him, I guess.
You can't throw it any better than this, Bob, and this has to be a catch. And like you said, he catches this football, he's still running. And you expect Eric Parker to make that catch, but he's a kid, Bob. He hurt his shoulder in the Arkansas game, just came back in the Notre Dame football game and started to play like the Eric Parker of old. So he may be a little rusty.
I'm sure he'd like to hear that play called again very soon in the huddle. Tennessee now looking at 3rd and 17. They fire it out here in the flat. It's incomplete. Intended for Troy Fleming, who just simply dropped it. But to be honest with you, I don't think it had any chance of picking up a first down anyway. So Tennessee blows a golden opportunity after the Julian Battle fumble. They have blown 2 great opportunities in the last minute and a half or so.
Clausen goes with the safety valve, Fleming, Bob, and he starts to look downfield before he secures the football.
Ryan Johnson will be back, and Dustin Colquitt will punt, and he gets off a nice one. It's going to bounce into the end zone. So Memphis will put it in play after the 50-yard punt at the 20-yard line, where it will be first down and 10 to go for the Tigers. So Tennessee drives down, gets an interception at about the 1-yard line. Then they intercept, Battle does, at midfield, and Tennessee is unable to move. So the offense has, after a brilliant start, really bogged down in the last 2 drives here. Well, I don't know that you call the turnover a bog down, but at least it was a blown opportunity. They go in the eye. Suber is still at quarterback, and the tailback got hit right at the line of scrimmage. Dante Brown really got smashed by Eddie Moore, number 37, who will put a helmet on you.
And this is a core of linebackers anchored by, of course, Eddie Moore, and now with the emergence of Kevin Burnett, they're starting to play a lot better. Just know where to go for Dante Brown. I tell you, Tennessee defensively is going to be tough to run on. John Henderson's starting to get healthy. Albert Haynesworth is starting to play up to his potential. They're going to be tough, Bob, to run the football on.
End of the quarter right here on CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast, with Tennessee leading Memphis in homecoming for the Volunteers, 7-0. Wednesday night, tune in to CSS for the re-air of 3rd-ranked Florida and number 15 South Carolina from this past Saturday. Coverage begins at 8 o'clock Eastern on CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. Well, Tennessee has had a golden opportunity to be up at least 14-0 and probably 21-0. And they have not capitalized. That was Dante Brown, the tailback, being led off the field and heading for the dressing room. He looked like he was moving okay, Terrence, so we're assuming that it's nothing very serious, but they're taking him into the dressing room for a look-see.
And that would be a big blow for Memphis, Bob, because he's a huge part of their offense. When you look at the big plays over the year for Memphis, it's hard not to recognize his name.
Suber remains at quarterback for Memphis. Of the quarterbacks they play, the 3, he does have the strongest arm. Here's the referee giving us some news before, or at least conferring with another referee. They blew the whistle and stopped the play. There's no flag down on the field. This may be another situation with the clock. 14:48 remaining in the first half of play. Beautiful day. We started this game at 69 degrees, and it's just absolutely ideal weather for football. Memphis passing 1 of 5.
Please reset the game clock to 15 minutes. Please reset the game clock, 15 minutes.
For 15 yards, and rushing, they have 5 carries for 12 yards. So that speaks well for the Tennessee defense. The clock had run down several seconds, and we're starting this quarter, and we should start it at an even 15, and that's why they're doing it. Tailback now, Aaron Meadows and Jeremiah Bonds will be filling in the absence of Brown. Here's the pitch. They try to sweep. No, nothing doing. Fumble picked up by Tennessee. Bonds fumbled. John Henderson hit him and picked it up. Eddie Moore was also in there too.
I think that was caused by Mark Jones, the backup safety for Tennessee. This all starts with the quarterback, Superbach. When you run the option, you have to go down the line. He kind of bows a bit, shine away from contact, allows Tennessee to get there defensively, and what a good stick by Mark Jones. That's
Number
a textbook
10,
tackle.
Mark Jones, really a nice play. So Tennessee now in great shape. First down and 10 to go on about the 12-yard line of Memphis. Casey Clausen pitches wide to his right. Travis Stevens for the corner. Gets running room inside the 10 down to about the 7 before Derek Ballard made the stop for Memphis.
And there's a flag on the field. I think it's going to be a personal foul against Memphis. Some extra action after the play.
We'll get the word from the referee.
Dead ball, personal foul on the defense, a blow to the head, 50, half the distance to the goal, first and goal.
Costly penalty for Memphis. The referee is Gil Gilbeck. And you heard his words right there. And Tommy West, who played here at Tennessee, now coaches at Memphis, obviously, as any coach would be displeased with that little happening on the field. I'll pick it up on camera range. It happened outside of the play itself. Clausen now looking at a 1st and 4. They can't make a first down. He rolls, he throws, end zone, touchdown, Troy Fleming. Out of the backfield in the corner, wide open, and Vols jump on top 13-0 with the extra point coming up. Good call, good play.
A good call by Randy Sanders. And again, we see something about we haven't seen this year. A new little wrinkle to the offense. But as we talked about, when you have all of your horses in the stable, you can do a lot more as an offensive coordinator.
Tennessee has not thrown except a little safety valve pass to their backs to any extent at all. You're right, Terrence. So that is a new wrinkle. Alex Walls puts it through, and the Vols go on top 14-0. Let's take another look at the touchdown.
Play action to fake to Stevens, and Memphis commits. Troy Fleming slips through. He's just wide open. And Stevens does a good job of picking up Brown. Allow Casey Clausen enough time to get out, get the ball to Troy Fleming.
A fumble and a recovery by Tennessee set it up, and they capitalize on it very quickly. There's the drive. 2 plays, 12 yards. Took a grand total of 36 seconds. Fleming on the 3-yard reception. So the Volunteers, for one of the few times this year, enjoying a very, very solid first half of play. Remember, in most of the games, they have started slowly. They've had big third quarters, big fourth quarters, and that's really been the difference. They have really been outstanding in the fourth quarter of play. For instance, at Alabama had the ball, I think, 2 minutes in the entire fourth quarter down in Tuscaloosa.
And when you talk to Randy Sanders, he said we're offensively at the point where we would hope to have been at the 2nd or 3rd ball game of the season, Bob, but because of all the injuries, it's just been very slow trying to get some consistency on the offensive side of the football.
Clausen is now 11 of 18 for 131 yards, a couple of touchdowns, 1 INT. He's hit 9 different receivers in this ball game. Here's the kickoff by Walls. This one's going to be around the 6-yard line. Taken by Harden. Harden with a big return all the way out to the 40-yard line. So again, Tennessee has that little bit of a breakdown in the kick return game. Buck Fitzgerald, a backup cornerback, made the stop on the special teams for Tennessee.
Let's take another look at the touchdown by Tennessee. They faked to Stevens. Memphis commits to Stevens, and they slip Troy Fleming through for the touchdown.
That return, by the way, was good for 34 yards. So Memphis in good field position at the 40-yard line.
And what's interesting about that return, Bob, as you said, Tennessee has covered their kickoffs well. This time they give up a big play.
Super pump fake. Fires. It's going to be caught. Did he catch it? Yes, he did. He was in bounds. Bunky Perkins, who is all of 5'9", 155 pounds, and out-jumped Jabari Greer on that one. Good for 23 yards. Huge play for Memphis.
And Greer had good coverage, Bob. This is just a really good throw and just a really outstanding catch by Bunky Peterson. You couldn't ask for better coverage there.
Jabari was right in his face, but couldn't prevent the completion. Memphis first down and 10 in Tennessee territory. Suber fires long, got a man down there, and it is caught at the 1-yard line. Antoine Harden. Wow. Just turned it loose. Good for 36 yards. And a first and goal for Memphis.
The style of defense that Tennessee plays is get after the quarterback, play man coverage on the outside. And Memphis has good enough athletes to beat you. And they beat Teddy Gaines there.
Gaines couldn't quite get there. So it's up to the Tennessee defense. Now the ball is actually on the 2-yard line. Suber fires for the end zone. Is he in there? Yes, he is. Touchdown, Memphis to Aaron Meadows. Coming out of the backfield, the tailback. Memphis on the scoreboard. As we tried to say numerous times, you cannot let this team hang around.
And that's the thing about this Tennessee defense, Bob. At times during the year, they look so dominant. And then there's times where teams just move the football down the field with very easy, very little ease. And this time they move the football down the field in 3 plays.
So now we'll have the try for the extra point. Ryan White puts it up there, and it is good. So Memphis is on the board. It's 14-7. We're pretty early in the second quarter. Let's take another look at the TD, Terrence.
A little play action here by Suber, and they're going to slip the tight end out. And he makes the catch for a touchdown. Able to get 2 knees down for the TD.
Well, good call, I guess, because Tennessee was not prepared for it. They were breaking on the ball, but a step late in getting there, and Memphis is on the board. The shadow has now covered almost all of the football field, except from the 20-yard line down to the checkerboard on the south end of the field. There's the drive. 3 plays, 60 yards, and 42 seconds is all it took Memphis to cover that yardage. So that's a good drive for Memphis. And a bad drive for the Tennessee defense. Tennessee's got Leonard Scott from Zachary, Louisiana, standing back at his 4-yard line, ready to receive the kick from Ryan White. White's a senior, 5'9", 182-pounder. Who's had a good career in Memphis.
He has, Bob, and coming into this year, he was a Playboy preseason All-American. Had an outstanding year last year. This year, it's been a little inconsistent. Hadn't been as good as he was last year. But on the whole, Memphis, just like Tennessee, has had some special team problems. Coach Tommy West said, you know, it's good for us to have an open date before Tennessee because we need to get some of these things corrected. And he really didn't have an answer for why special teams weren't playing well.
It's a nice kickoff. It's going to go all the way to the end zone and a yard deep into it where Scott will come out of there dancing around. And maybe too little moving forward and too much dancing.
And key word, Bob, is dancing. I returned kicks when I was at Tennessee, and you just have to hit it. You have to believe when you get to the wedge or the wall that it's going to open up. And you have to run like that, kind of kamikaze style.
Only 17 yards on the return. Ball is on the 18-yard line. It'll be first down and 10 to go. Tennessee, after jumping in front 14-7, just saw Memphis on 3 plays, move 60 yards and score a touchdown. Casey comes up throwing, drop. by Dante Stallworth. So we have seen Stallworth drop one. Jason Witten, Eric Parker dropped one.
Tennessee just going to go with a quick hitch. And there's no reason for Stallworth to drop this ball. He's just trying to find a defender before he secures the football.
Becomes second down and 10 to go. Fulmer perhaps a little displeased with what he has seen on a few plays and pleased with others here in the first half. This one's to Stallworth, and this time he does hang on. He's still fighting for yardage. Still fighting down the sidelines. He stepped out of bounds, though. The official says back around the 34-yard line or so is where they will put it in play, but he did pick up the first down.
And if you're a Tennessee fan, Bob, you just got to like this. Having Dante Stallworth back, having Kelly Washington on the other side, this is the kind of wide receiver that they have in him. He can take a 5-yard route and take it the distance. Just showing you his strength, his athletic ability, able to step, but you want him to put that football in his outside arm.
All right, it's first down and 10 to go for Tennessee. They hand off to Travis Stevens. Not much there. He's going to be driven back by a host of Tigers.
I didn't get...
Travis Stevens nowhere to run that time, so it'll remain 10 yards shy of a first down. Randy Sanders sending in another play to Casey Clausen right here. Second down. Yeah, a little closer to 9. Jason Witten going in motion. Casey Clausen gonna be smothered. Tennessee blocking just completely collapsed that time, and Clausen stepped out of the pocket to his right. I don't know that's all blocking fault that time because he was moving away from the pocket, and I'm not sure he should have done that.
Travis Stevens is responsible for Brown, and he doesn't get to him. The pressure gets to him. And this is all because Memphis did have good coverage in the secondary.
Taylor and Rowand were the primary tacklers on that one for Memphis. Tennessee with a spread offense this time. 2 receivers at the top of your screen. 1 here at the bottom. They're faking a blitz. And they bring him in, but he gets his pass away. It's complete, but it'll be far short of a first down, headed out to Eric Parker. About 6 yards shy of a first. So it'll bring up a fourth down punting situation for Tennessee. Tennessee operating, I guess you could say, in spurts right here. They look good on one series. They look average on the next series.
And this is the same scheme that Tennessee has faced last year when they had the difficulty down at Memphis. Of course, Tommy West was the defensive coordinator. They don't have the athletes that they have, but they still have the scheme.
Beautiful high kick by Colquitt. And they let it bounce. And it bounces beautifully in Tennessee's favor down to about the 7-yard line. Brian Johnson got away from that one. It was so high. Probably should have asked for a fair catch, but he didn't. And Colquitt gets off a boomer. So you can't complain about the punting here today so far. This one is for 55 yards.
Well above his average. And yeah, Brian Johnson should have fair caught that football, and Tommy West had something to say to him when he got to the sideline.
Ball is on the 7-yard line where the Memphis Tigers, University of Memphis, will take over, trailing Tennessee 14-7. Go next on the road to Kentucky. Then they have Vanderbilt in here for their final home game, and then they play the rescheduled game against Florida on December 1st at the Swamp in Gainesville. And boy, that one is shaping up as a monster game as of right now, but they've still got business to take care of before that. Here's the handoff. Fake the handoff to Keeper by Suber. Nice play. Gets a first down on it. Eddie Moore made the stop on big number 14, who's as big or bigger than most fullbacks. They list him as 238, Terrence. He looks more like the 250-ish. Remember, he's 6'3" also.
And this is something like we talked about that you'll see from Memphis. They do so many different things, Bob. They'll run the option out of that set. They'll give an inside handoff, an outside handoff. They're so multiple.
This time, Sugar Sanders with his first carry of the day. Sugar's been around a while. We've done games with him involved for the past couple of years. And he picks up a little bit of yardage before he is knocked down. Take another look.
Just straight ahead gear here. Double team there on John Henderson, and a good tackle by Kevin Burnett.
John Henderson is getting double teamed virtually every play by every opponent, which always, of course, would free up someone else. Here's the reverse. It's going to be good for a first down and then some to Monkey Perkins. So a couple of times they've gone with a reverse in this ball game, and each time they've picked up a little yardage.
It's interesting.
Good for a first.
Interesting, the reverse that they run, Bob. It takes so long, it allows Tennessee to recover. There's not a whole lot of surprise in the reverse that Memphis runs.
Memphis with a first down and 10. 9:50 remaining in the first half of play. Ball's 14-7. Memphis is driven from their 7-yard line, so they've gotten out of a hole. Here's Suber firing incomplete. Tennessee hitting Jabari Greer just as the receiver, Travis Anglin, got his hands on the football. Greer made contact and shook it loose.
And Greer makes a good play, Bob. I think it's just a little quick screen, and he gets his hand in at the last minute to knock the ball loose.
Good timing to prevent any interference. Jabari Greer has a chance, the coaches say, to be one of the best cover corners to ever play at Tennessee. Total yardage, 189 to 109, Tennessee. 3 receivers set on the right side. Tennessee tries to get pressure on, gets enough, but he throws it a little high, incomplete. Intended for Ryan Johnson, cutting across the middle. Eddie Moore, number 37, was with him. Another look.
Suber's a little rushed here. Tennessee comes with a DB blitz with Jabari Greer, and he throws it behind his wide receiver. That's just a tough catch to make.
Eddie Moore is the quarterback on defense. He calls the plays, calls all the sets for Tennessee. Defensively, this time Suber goes into the shotgun. Tennessee puts big pressure on him, and he fires, and again off the mark for Perkins. Too many men coming at him that time. He saw a lot of orange in front of him, and he had the man out there open. He just didn't want to get racked. Take a look.
I think Bunky at 5'9", 155, I can relate to this guy. I think he got a little excited. He wanted the ball to get there a lot quicker than it did.
Burnett has a little something to say to him. Well, Kevin Burnett has a chance to be a big-time linebacker at Tennessee. This kid's 18 years old. Here's the kick. And it's going to be caught by Baker with some running room. Baker on a nice return up across the 40 to the 43-yard line, where Tennessee will put it in play. Rashad Baker. So Tennessee in great field position now. 47-yard punt, 13-yard return for Tennessee. Clausen now. First and 10. Hands it off to Stevens. Big hole. Cross midfield. Still fighting. Down to the 40-yard line and finally driven out right at the 40-yard line. Travis Stevens, the senior from Clarksville, Tennessee, picks up 17 big yards for the Vols.
And a good pickup and just a good job of blocking. He's led here by Will Bartholomew. And here Glenn Sumter gets a glimpse of Travis Stevens, and he sees it. You're not going to bring that guy down with an easy tackle.
Glenn Sumter remembers the best tackler on this team, and he just got run through that time. Here's Travis on a pitch to the right. Cuts back inside, still fighting. Gets across the 35 down to about the 33-yard line before he is stopped. Travis really running hard.
Running hard, and Tennessee getting some people out in front of him. Anthony Herrera, Will Bartholomew, Dominique Stevens blocking downfield. Just a whole onslaught of Tennessee blockers downfield.
Vols come up to the line of scrimmage. Looking now at a 2nd and 3. Do we see a little more Travis Stevens right here? Nope. Going to put it in the air, and the receiver is down, smothered by a Memphis player, Leonard Scott. But it would be called uncatchable, I'm sure, and there's no interference on that one.
Leonard Scott and Casey Clausen just not on the same page. Casey checked into the quicks hits, and Scott is thinking it's still a run, so he's blocking on the play.
We'll take another look. Yeah, pretty good block, actually. Scott. UT is 3 of 3, 0 of 3 on their last third down situations here. 0 of 3, and they're now 0 of 4 as this one is incomplete. Sumter broke it up. Thought for a second there might have been an interception, but there's Sumter. He broke it up. So Tennessee now will be looking at a 4th and 3.
And a risky throw by Claus, and I think the whole Memphis defense is over there around Dante Stallworth.
3 man.
I'm not sure there wasn't an interception unless he trapped the football.
Ball's going to go for it. 8:21 remaining in the first half of play. And now Coach Philip Fulmer may have some second thoughts about going for it because he calls a timeout. And I believe that's Tennessee's last timeout here in the first half. So they decide to go for it. Then Coach Fulmer perhaps has second thoughts, or maybe he didn't like the play that had been called. So Randy Sanders and Coach Fulmer confer a bit on the sidelines. And we'll see what they do when they break back out there. I still think they may go for it right here.
I think they may take a shot at it. I think Philip Fulmer just wanted to make sure that his offense and everyone on the offense understood what they were trying to do. He wants no confusion if we're going to go for it on 4th and 3.
Well, Tennessee Vols next go on the road at Kentucky, playing at Lexington. Then they come back here at home for their final home game of the year against Vanderbilt, and then go on the road to wrap it up in the game of the year at Florida on December the 1st. So they control their own destiny, in other words.
They control their own destiny, and the one thing Tennessee would like to do, they would like to build momentum heading into the Florida game, and one way to do that is to get as many people playing time as possible and also to stay healthy.
Official attendance, 107,221 here today on a very perfect football day in East Tennessee. Clausen now on 4th and 3. Big play coming up right here. Got time, throws, got his man. It's going to be a touchdown. Dante Stallworth. Wow. They needed 3. They got 33 and 6 at the end of it.
And just a big play by Dante Stallworth and Casey Clausen. They've got man coverage on both Washington and Dante Stallworth. The safety, Sumter, cheats to Kelly Washington because he's been a big play guy for Tennessee. And they go back with the quick post to Dante Stallworth, and his athletic ability, he's not going to be brought down. Touchdown, Tennessee.
One of several Californians on the Tennessee team. That was a California connection right there. California quarterback to a California receiver. The snap is dropped. Reagan picks it up. Looks, fires in the end zone. Got a 2-pointer. Wow. Seth Reagan to Constantine Richmond, who scores for Tennessee. A defensive end who's in on the kick, extra point coverage or extra point kicking. And Bob, so what a play that was.
I was reading in the paper this morning that there are 13 German media members over here to report on Constantine Richmond, and they have something to take home.
Stallworth has 4 catches, by the way, for 81 yards and a touchdown.
As I said, they roll the safety, trying to double Washington. Clausen goes back with the quick post here to Stallworth. He gets inside, ball on the money, and this is just athletic ability. Not going to be brought down, and outruns Glenn Sumter to the pylon.
Let's take a look now at that strange extra point. Reagan drops it.
Right through Reagan's hands.
Then he picks it up.
He decides, if I drop it, I better pick it up. And Richmond does a wide thing, Bob, of getting himself in the end zone.
Hey, we might have to take a look at Constantine at tight end, huh? Well, that was quite a little Minute and a half of football right there. We saw everything. And as a result, at the end of it, Tennessee leads 22-7 over Memphis with now 8 minutes and 12 seconds remaining. There's your drive. 5 plays, 57 yards, and took only 1:07 to accomplish that. And then the rather strange way to pick up 2 points on the conversion. Short kickoff down to the 9-yard line. Tennessee with great coverage. Antoine Harden really got smacked.
And Stephen Marsh just smacked him, as you said.
Stephen Marsh is a safety, 12 yards on the return, who plays a lot at safety. He is considered the best tackler of the Tennessee secondary guys, and you'll see why in a moment. Here's another look at that touchdown.
As I said, Memphis brings the blitz. That means they're in man coverage out on the corners. They try to double the Washington side. They go back to Stallworth, and he's not going to be denied.
Tennessee now up 22-7. Memphis perhaps in a passing situation now. They fake the tailback. They throw out on the flat complete, and it's going to be knocked out of bounds. Jeff Cameron, the tight end, at the 25-yard line. Let's take another look at Stephen Marsh here on the kickoff as he makes the hit.
And Marsh has been a really good special teams player for Tennessee. That's the way you take a guy out on the return, no question.
Second down and 6 to go for Memphis. Suber in the shotgun, firing long and firing over the wrong shoulder of his intended receiver, Travis Anglin. Tennessee had it pretty well covered. Teddy Gaines step for step with him. It would have been had to have been a perfect pass to complete that one, but it goes incomplete, and it now becomes a 3rd and 6 for Memphis. 7:50 remaining in the first half of play. That's some nice halftime features for you. Stay with us for that. Here's the handoff to the tailback. Absolutely nothing. Aaron Meadows carrying, and Tennessee had Burnett and a host of others in there. Philip Fulmer told us last Sunday on a radio show that Burnett has the chance to be as good as Al Wilson.
He does, Bob.
In some ways, he could be better because he's built more like a big linebacker. He's taller, a lot taller than Al, for one thing.
He is, and he's very good in coverage, and I think he gives you a little more range than Al Wilson gives you.
What Al Wilson gave you was all the emotion in the world, though, and what a great team leader he was. Punting situation for Memphis. Tennessee put the rush on, couldn't quite get there. Rashad Baker backs up, takes it. He's got a little bit of room to his right, and he cuts it back up to the 45-yard line. Rashad Baker may break one before this year is over. He's getting closer every game.
He's not as dangerous as Eric Parker is back there returning punts, but the one thing about him, he's sure-handed. He's definitely going to catch the football.
It was a good punt, 44 yards, and then a good 15-yard return by Tennessee's Baker, which sets it up on the 44-yard line, where Casey Clausen and company will go to work. Vols up 22-7 over Memphis. Memphis can make their season. In '96, they did that with the biggest win ever. They beat Tennessee. Nice fake by Clausen. Rolls out, got a man wide open. And it's going to be a little bit shy of a first down to Bartholomew coming out of the backfield. Bartholomew seldom ever involved offensively except in blocking schemes, but occasionally gets his hand on the ball and does a pretty nice job.
Very seldom involved, and this is all going to Will Bartholomew. He does a good job of staying in bounds, but whoo, what a lick by Glenn Sumter.
Sumter came into this ball game with 4 interceptions. I think about, I don't know how many tackles, assists, and everything, somewhere up around 80 or so. Here is a handoff and a nice run on the left side. Flags go down as Travis Stevens is run out of bounds. There's a flag down, probably a clip or a hold against Tennessee back around the 34-yard line.
That's going to come back because Montrell Jones, and he's a freshman, blocked in the back, and there was no need for him to do that. The defender was well out of the way of Travis Stevens.
Illegal block in the back on the offense.
Well, he will take a look at it in the film room in front of all of his teammates, and he'll never do that again, perhaps.
That's just a freshman mistake.
illegal block in the back on the offense. That's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. The play still remains 1st and 10.
Right there.
Right there you see the block in the back. And he'll learn from that, Bob. What you want him to do is you want him to let that guy go, turn and go downfield, pick up another defender.
So it becomes now a 1st and 10 with the ball at the 43-yard line. Witten steps in motion down the right side of the line. Then they come back to the left with Witten leading the blocking. And Travis Stevens fighting for yardage pretty close to a 1st down. Witten had to throw a good block to free that. So Travis now has his 1,000 yards on the season. Here he comes with that last 10 yards to get there.
Just a great move by Travis Stevens and tough, hard yards as we've seen him accumulate all year.
Sean Young threw a good block there, too, for Tennessee. Travis again. Running hard. Elijah Bell made the stop from strong safety. Travis is going out now for a breather.
He's holding his shoulder, Bob. He has to not only avoid the Memphis defenders, but also his own. He hurdles John Finlinson there.
Got a freshman in now at tailback. Cedric Houston is in for Tennessee at tailback. Gets the call, goes straight ahead across the 25 down to about the 23-yard line. Cedric Houston, a freshman out of the state of Arkansas, comes in with great credentials, but we haven't had a chance. Tennessee's just not been in a comfortable situation in most of their ball games to get these youngsters in, and they were hoping from here on out, and especially in the next 3 games, including this one, to do that. Stevens now 11 carries for 85 yards today, 1,018 on the year. Here is Houston trying to get outside and can't do it. They close him down at the 20-yard line. But we are seeing the freshmen in, and there's certainly Woody McCorvey, the running back coach, told me a couple of weeks ago, as soon as they got in a comfortable situation or not maybe have a game totally in hand, but get a little bit comfortable, they want to get those guys in, and you see one of them right here.
Just not a whole lot there. Memphis definitely trying to stop the run, bringing a lot of people up. Not a whole lot there for Cedric Houston. So
they need 4 yards for a 1st down to keep the drive alive. It's 3rd down, and let's see if Casey goes to the air. No, he goes to his tailback, Travis Stevens, and he's stopped by the Memphis Tigers short of a 1st down. And so it'll be a field goal situation perhaps here for Tennessee. Crowd, of course, wants them to go for it.
And Stevens is just a shoestring away, Bob, from picking up the 1st down.
Ball is on the 20. They need 3 yards to go. They need to go to the 17 for a 1st down. And looks like they are going to go for it. No, they're not going to go for the field goal. Alex Walls is still on the sideline, so they're going to go for that 3 yards and a 1st down. Clausen in the shotgun. 3 receivers set to the top, 1 to the right. He fires. Got his man wide open and just overthrew Bobby Graham. A little too tall for Bobby. He was right there and open for a sure 1st down and maybe a touchdown.
As we said, Tennessee able to work the middle of the field, just a little too high for Bobby Graham. They go with the 4 wide set, let the wide receivers clear out. Graham comes in underneath. Clausen wishes he had that one back. Not many bad throws today that I can think of for Clausen except that one.
That was a tall order for Graham. I'm not sure he could have brought that one in, but flag goes down before the play, so we may have delay of game here, or they may have broke the huddle with 12 men. They will call that an awful lot. They'll call it every time now. But we'll see. This, I think, was delay.
Substitution foul on the offense, breaking the huddle with 12 players, 5 yards.
It was right on the 1st down.
There you go, Bob. You know your football.
That confuses the defense, and of course that's why it's intentionally done sometimes. Sometimes it's unintentional, but they'll always call it. Here's a pass in the flat, and then they want to throw off of that. Tennessee converges on him and runs him out of bounds. Nobody open. Ryan Johnson wanted to throw after taking the toss out from Suber at quarterback. Probably a pretty good idea, but Tennessee had it all the way.
I think they wanted to go with a wide receiver screen and throw the post to the tight end on the backside. But Tennessee, as you said, did a good job, a great job of defending. Just nowhere for him to go with the football. Has all day, no one there.
So now Memphis looks at a 2nd and 12 situation. Down to Tennessee, 22-7. 3 minutes and 32 seconds remaining. And snap is mishandled by Suber. Tennessee all over it. I believe the Vols have, yes, recovered it. It is Bernard Jackson, defensive end for Tennessee, who comes up with the football. And Bernard gets himself a big play here in front of the homecoming crowd. Tough break for Suber and Memphis. Snap was good, Terrence.
Snap was good. I think Suber just took his eyes off of it. And Bernard Jackson does a good job of beating him to the football. And Jackson, a senior, pointing to maybe some family in the stands, saying, hey, look at me.
Bernard is also from the state of Kentucky. So Tennessee in great shape right now. First down at the 5-yard line, 1st and goal with the Volunteers. Gift to Travis Stevens, fighting, digging down to the 3-yard line, and then driven back a yard. Hit by Greg Harper, outside linebacker for Memphis.
Just straight ahead, Philip Fulmer football. Memphis packing everything inside. Just not a whole lot of room there for Travis Stevens. And he came up holding his shin, Bob. That same shin he hurt in the Notre Dame game.
Memphis 3-1 at home, 1-3 on the road. Got a couple of games remaining. Now Tennessee returns the favor by fumbling themselves, but Clausen was able to fall on top of it. Stevens on top of it. And Stevens smiling, so he's okay. I thought for a second he might have been banged up a little.
Ball just slipped through Clausen's hands.
And then he tried to scrape it in, and Stevens said, better let me do that.
They both decided somebody better get the football.
So now Tennessee looks at a 3rd and 6. 3rd and goal at the 6-yard line. They started, remember, when Suber mishandled a snap from center and left Tennessee with the golden opportunities they've yet to cash in on. Now Clausen running to his right. It's going to be knocked down around the 9-yard line. Tony Brown in a foot race. Tony Brown wins that one 10 out of 10 times.
And the crowd was wanting some type of call. They thought Tony Brown had Casey Clausen's face mask. They're trying to go back with the same play that they went to for Bobby Graham. Just not a whole lot of field to work with.
He had his arm across the face mask, but he did not actually grab it. He grabbed his shoulder pad first. So now Alex Walls will attempt the field goal. The ball will be set down on the 17, making it a 27-yard effort. Seth Reagan holds it this time, and Walls puts it through there to put 3 points on the board for Tennessee. So Tennessee now goes out in front of Memphis 25-7. You are watching CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. The kickoff now. And Alex Walls, that's a nice high kick this time. He's going to go all the way down to about the 4-yard line. And returned out to a crease. Pretty good return across the 30-yard line. It's Antoine Harden on the return for Memphis. Covers 29 yards on the return.
A good return by Harding, but I think he doesn't get this much. If Jabari Davis, who's a freshman, he runs on through the play. If he doesn't stop to try to settle, just run on to the defender, I think he makes a good stop.
Memphis points off of turnovers. Time of possession, Tennessee 20 minutes to 8 minutes. Here's Suber on the keeper and nowhere much to go that time as Omari Hand, who backs up Bernard Jackson at left end, made the stop for Tennessee. Suber has gone all the way. I'm a little bit surprised at that. We thought we perhaps would see the freshman quarterback in, and we may before the day is over. But so far, Suber, who has played in the stadium before and played well here, and played well in the first half for the most part, did come up with a costly turnover the last time Memphis had the ball. Hands off to his tailback, nothing. Tennessee just smothers Sugar Sanders right at the line of scrimmage, led by the giant Albert Hainsworth, all 300-plus pounds. Bob Davie of Notre Dame said, "I've been coaching many, many years. I've never seen two defensive tackles that big in college football," talking about Henderson and Hainsworth.
You're right, Bob, and Henderson is getting healthy, and Hainsworth is playing the kind of football that you expect him to play. And the great thing about it is Albert Hainsworth will be back next year to anchor that Tennessee defensive line.
He's a South Carolina native, and time is going to run down and run out here in the first half. And so Tennessee leads at halftime over the Memphis Tigers by a score of 25-7. Volunteers, for one of the few times this will be kicking off as the Vols get set now to go into action against the Tigers of Tommy West, who knows what it's like to play on this field and to coach on this field, as a matter of fact, for Tennessee. Tommy will do a good job. You know, I took a look at the lineup situation for Memphis, studying them this week. Terrence, they got 2 on offense, seniors, and 4 on defense, so it's a very young football team.
Young football team. Don't have a lack of depth, Bob. In their first football game, out of the 20 freshmen that they signed, 13 of those guys played in the first football game for Memphis.
Tennessee does a great job in covering this kick, and Ted Golden downfield for one. Golden started out at safety, moved to linebacker, and has been outstanding on special teams play for the Volunteers. So he covers this one nicely, and Memphis will take over the football at the 16-yard line. Still huddled around their coach, Tommy West, on the sidelines. Vols go on the road next week to Lexington. And if it's good weather up there, it'll be the shock of my life. I've never been there when it's been real good weather, I don't think.
I haven't either. Not for a football game.
Here is Suber, still in at quarterback, rolling and throwing. Got a man open in the middle. It is complete up to the 31-yard line to Antoine Harden, who settled in the middle of the field and found himself wide open. 15 yards and a first down for Memphis.
A whole lot of misdirection from Memphis and really good protection. Allows Suber time to find his wide receiver coming on the backside.
We're closer to the 32. Let's call it 32. First down and 10. Suber will line up in the shotgun. 3 receivers set. Got time. Throws. Had his man there. Dropped it. Tennessee covering on pretty good Travis Anglin, but Anglin probably should have had that one. It will be 2nd and 10 for Memphis. They're a quick strike team. If Tennessee will give them any kind of a chance, the hope of John Chavis, the defensive coordinator for Tennessee, is they won't get that chance. Here's Suber heading off to his tailback, and for the first time today, Memphis finds a little running room. It's Sugar Sanders carrying the football, and he's shy of a first down, but he picked up nice yardage up almost to the 40-yard line.
And Sugar Sanders leaves a sour taste in Buck Fitzgerald's mouth, Bob. Just tough running inside. Buck, a backup defensive back for Tennessee.
Tennessee's used an awful lot of people in this ball game already. It'll be now a 3rd down and 2. So let's see if the Tennessee defense can stand up to the occasion here. Memphis probably going to throw short. They do. Incomplete. Had his man there. Not a good pass. Monkey Perkins was open. Had he taken a little off of that football, I think as a receiver, Terrence, you know, sometimes they just don't take enough off and can settle it in there and make it a nice play.
Didn't take enough off and didn't get this ball low enough. You need this ball to hit the receiver right between the numbers. Give him an opportunity to protect himself, and if he does, Perkins is still running with the football. He's upset. He knows there was a lot of green grass out there for him.
James Gaither will stand in to punt now. 3 on the day, 39-yard average. Best has been 44 yards. Gets off a pretty good kick.
Not a good snap, Bob, and I think he put his knee down before he kicked the ball.
A did. Apparently, there is the referee's signal that it's Tennessee's football at the 26-yard line. Here's the official will tell us officially, but I think, Terrence, you're right on top of it. Whistle blew just as the kick got in the air and everybody stopped. And that is the occasion. The knee went down. Let's take another look, Terrence.
Let's see if his knee does go down. Yes, it did.
Ooh. Low snap, but he probably still should have kept that knee up. Big break for Tennessee. Tough one for Memphis. Clausen rolling, throwing to the right. Complete to Bartholomew. Down inside the 15, down to about the 11-yard line. Fullback out of the backfield, catching a little swing pass. That's the third one of those they've thrown to him today. Greg Harper, the outside linebacker, chased him down after a 14-yard gain.
And a little waggle here with Clausen and Bob. This is all designed to go to Bartholomew. A lot of times you see your fullback being your little drop-off or your outlet, but this is designed good blocking downfield by Eric Parker.
First down and 10 to go at the 12-yard line. Clausen, two receivers, both set on the left side. Back looks, goes to the backfield again, and it's out of bounds at the 10-yard line. A gain of 2 to Troy Fleming. Memphis played that one pretty good.
And Tennessee doing a good job, Bob, of when they throw the football, spreading it around. I think we looked at a statistic early that Clausen had thrown to 9 different wide receivers. Early in the season, we could have been critical of Tennessee because we thought they were locked on Kelly Washington. It was like everything was going to Kelly Washington.
Well, that was the truth. I was early in the season. But now they have really diversified. 3 receivers set this time. Witten goes in motion. They give it off to the tailback, and he's going to get a couple of yards. Travis Stevens down inside the 10, but well short of a first down. 2-yard line would be the marker where they'd have to get a first down. So it'll bring up now for Tennessee a 3rd down and 4. One of those situations where you're Memphis, you got to expect pass and run here. You don't know what Tennessee's going to come up with, so you can't lock in on either one, which is good for the offense. Bay pattern in the end zone. Dante Stallworth a little too much on it. Tried to hit Stallworth right at the back pylon, and it was just not there. So they'll have to bring in Alex Walls. They
bring pressure on Clausen. He has to get rid of the football really quickly. He just throws this. This is an uncatchable ball. Way out of bounds. They're throwing it only where the wide receiver, he has an opportunity, only where he can catch it. But good coverage by Memphis.
Even though they probably get 3, that was a disappointing series for Tennessee. They were in great position to put 7 on the board right there. Ball is put down. The kick is on the way. It's up there, and it is good by Alex Walls out of the Seth Riggin hold. And Tennessee puts 3 more on to go up 28-7. Tennessee 28, Memphis 7 on CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. All right, back here in Knoxville, homecoming, Tennessee on top 28-7. They had an opportunity to put 7 on the board there and probably should have, but didn't.
And they've had 2 opportunities, Bob, with good field position when they started to put 7 on the board, and that's a little discouraging. And that's why Philip Boomer's over there trying to keep his football team pumped up and into the football game.
Against a team like Florida, you do that and you're out of the ball game.
Exactly, and although Tennessee's playing Memphis, you still, when you get the football in the orange area or the red zone, the 20 going in, you want to be able to convert the large percentage of those into touchdowns.
We saw Clausen talking with his big tight end Finlinson on the sideline. Now the Tennessee defense will go to work and kick off to Memphis. Clausen is 7 of 28 for 211 yards. Bartholomew has 3 catches on the day, by the way, from fullback for 36 yards. Deep men for Memphis, ready to receive this kick. Antoine Harden, Darren White. Harden has looked pretty good on a couple of the kick returns today. This one's going to be taken at about the 3-yard line. And Tennessee covers this one nicely. They'll not permit him beyond the 20-yard line. So it's going to be first down and 10 to go at that point. 17 yards. And again, it's Marsh downfield, Stephen Marsh, to make the stop.
I think Stephen Marsh and Tony Campbell down for a good tackle on special teams.
Volunteers and Memphis. Quite a change from last year. That game was played last year at Liberty Bowl with a light, cold drizzle falling throughout the ball game. It's been picture perfect today here in East Tennessee. Suber hands off to his tailback, and he's slammed. Win Prine is the quarterback in now, and Hainsworth crashes the party.
Hainsworth's a big man, and I think he likes some sweets. He's all over Sugar Sanders on it. Just nowhere to go.
Wim Prine is now in at quarterback, and Danny is a freshman. He's 6'1", 216 pounds. Started the last 3 games. They didn't start him today. Thought the crowd might rattle him. They brought him in here, though. He throws to his receiver, and it's in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. Incomplete, intended for Darren White.
Took the referee down on that play, but everybody getting involved on the field.
You know, talking about Hainsworth, I read just this week that I think it's Mel Kiper said that Hainsworth, as of right now, would be a top 5 pick.
Yes, Bob.
And has a chance next year to be even higher in the draft. Memphis puts a man in motion to the top of your screen. Win Prine throws to that man in motion. He slips one tackle, slips another, and it's going to be close to a first down. Not quite there. It's Antoine Harden again, and he's hit by Julian Battle for Tennessee. So they came up about 2 yards shy of a first down, maybe a little closer to 3 yards shy, and it'll be a 4th down and 3 situation. And Tennessee's defense, Terrence, comes up big there.
Tennessee's defense comes up with a good stop. And Harden did all he could do to try to pick up the first down. Maybe if he doesn't dance as much at the end, just get straight north and south, and maybe he picks up the first down.
White the punt, and his kick is away and backs up Rashad Baker to the 25-yard line. He drops it, picks it up, and is going to be hit and knocked down. Good coverage that time by Lionel Paya.
Just if we, as I'd given Baker credit for being sure-handed, but what does he do? He drops the football.
Well, get it out of your system. It didn't do any damage, so that's the way to look at that one. Tennessee takes over now with the football on their end of the field. It'll be first down and 10 to go. Vols leading 28-7 in this one. 47-yard punt and 3 twisting yards on the return. Eric Casey needs 41 yards to move into the Vols' all-time top 10 passer categories, and boy, have there been some great passers in Tennessee.
There has, Bob, and just to think about it, he's just a sophomore, and he's playing better and better in every football game.
You played with one of those guys, Andy.
Andy Kelly was a great quarterback at Tennessee. I thought the thing I liked about Andy is Andy never got rattled, no matter what the situation was in the football game.
Tennessee leading 28-7, 10-18 remaining in the 3rd period of play. Volunteers now with the football ready to take over. First down and 10 to go. Ball is on the 28-yard line of Tennessee. I'm sure what Coach Fulmer would like to see in Randy Sanders right here is a very nice, consistent offensive drive. Take a lot of time off the clock. Keep it on the ground, and they run Stevens, and he gets up to the 30 and up maybe to the 32-yard line before he is stopped. So he picked up about 5 on that one. Good running by Travis. Shaka Hill made the stop along with Glenn Sumter. You people in Nashville may remember Shaka played for Goodpasture High School.
And just as you said, they would like to establish a drive, Bob, and chew out some clock. How does Tennessee know how to do it best? Running the football. Randy Sanders said in the paper this week, he said Coach Fulmer's an old offensive lineman. He'd love to run the football every play.
2nd down and 6, and they run it This time with Travis Stevens still fighting. Got his first down. Got more before he gets out of bounds up around the 42-yard line. Oh, my. We're trying to start a wave here. Let's take another look. I think he got the Gatorade bucket here.
Just a good bounce by Stevens. Nothing inside, Bob, and he shows his versatility. They get outside and able to pick up the first down and a little extra after leaping over the Gatorade.
There he goes. Stevens now has 10 carries, 105 yards. So he's moving up the ladder. There's a pass in the flat, complete. Yardage to midfield to Montrell Jones, the true freshman.
And good to see Montrell Jones get into the football game, Bob, because I feel like the only way you're going to learn how to play football in the SEC is to be on the football field. And he does a good job here. He's waiting on his blocks. Just the pursuit picks him up from behind.
If Tennessee can come up with a nice, long, sustained drive and cap it with a score, I think we're going to see some more of those freshman tailbacks. Here's the handoff to the tailback. Nice hole, and Stevens crashes through down across the 45 to the 43-yard line before Marcus Smith from cornerback made the stop for Memphis. Take another look.
You know, all Stevens needs, Bob, is just a little glimpse of daylight. Just a good job of finding the hole here and running tough. Just good blocking up front by Tennessee. Stevens does a good job of just sliding down the line, finding his hole.
1st and 10 for Tennessee in Memphis territory, driving with the football. They give us to Stevens again. Zitterlund's around on the outside, tried to find that hole. This time Memphis closed it down pretty good. Just not enough daylight to get through on that one. Travis getting up a little bit slowly, and he's going to come off the field.
Let's see if he gets hurt on this play, Bob, if we can notice anything. I know he goes down, underneath Offenhuser.
He walked off. There he is. He doesn't seem to feel just right. It's an ankle or a knee, but I think maybe twisted an ankle. There's Bobby Graham going in motion for Tennessee. Clausen out of the, goes out to his tailback. Still fighting for yardage is Troy Fleming. Good running by Troy from Battleground Academy in Middle Tennessee.
Troy gives Tennessee that nice 1-2 punch that they need with him and Stevens, Bob. And for a big guy, he's very elusive and has pretty good speed for a big guy.
13 yards on the carry for Fleming. There's Stevens on the sidelines. Obviously, he's not 100% right now, but he is walking okay. So they'd probably like to get in a position where they didn't have to use him anymore today. Here's Clausen throwing to the flat, complete. Down to the 20-yard line. Eric Parker, and that looks like Eric Parker.
Eric Parker, I thought in the Notre Dame game, really looked like the Eric Parker of old. Catching the ball in traffic, making some good catches, doing a lot after he catches the football. And they go with the play fake here, play action, and go with the wide receiver screen into the wide field. He does a good job there, waiting on his blocker, Reggie Coleman, to pick up the cornerback.
We should point out that Eric Parker was the return man for Tennessee before the injury. Richard Baker has taken over that job now. So Tennessee now 2nd down and about 3 yards for a first down. And Graham goes in motion. And again, they hand off to Big Fleming. Fleming crashes through a tailback running like a fullback on that one, all the way down to the 10-yard line. Troy Fleming has played some linebacker at Tennessee, and then they moved him to fullback. He's played tailback, so he's a very versatile guy for the ball.
He was a tailback in high school, Bob, and Tennessee does a good job up front on the offensive line. I think you and I holding hands could have ran through that hole. Just a good job, and like you said, what he gives you, he plays fullback, but he's an old tailback from high school.
4th down, or 4 downs for him, and 36 yards right now. It is 1st down and 10 at the 11-yard line. They give it off again to Fleming, twisting inside the 10 to the 9. before he is stopped by Lucas, the left end defensively for Memphis, crashing down the line to make the stop on Fleming. You notice they're not trusting those freshmen running back inside the 10 or in the red zone with that football just yet, because Memphis, hey, is still a fast strike team, and it's 28-7. They'd like to at least get another one on the board before they go to them. Clausen had one receiver set to the right, fakes it off to his tailback, keeps it, throws, got Graham, touchdown, Bobby Graham. Flag is down at the 3, so hold everything.
That may be coming back on Tennessee. That's their little wheel route. And what has to happen, one of the receivers has to come in and kind of rub off on a defender and kind of turn his shoulders to the quarterback.
Receiver illegally downfield on the offense.
Well, one of the linemen released and went downfield, and so wipe away the touchdown to Bobby Graham from Casey Clausen. Don't know if we'll pick it up here on the
downfield on the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. It remains second down.
Replay or not. Second down, though. Instead of a touchdown, though, the ball is brought back to almost the 15-yard line. Apparently, one of the offensive linemen felt like Clausen was going to keep the ball and run with it, and just released and went downfield.
Well, he's thrown the ball to so many people today, I guess they decide, hey, I may want to catch one.
Big guard and tackle would like to get in this action. Even Constantine Richmond scored on a 2-point play, remember. Here's the snap back to Clausen out of the shotgun, rolling, deflected, and batted down, incomplete. Pretty close to being picked off by Shanks.
And Shanks
made the block of the pass.
Demario Shanks makes a great play, Bob, because this is set up really well. This is a screen to Troy Fleming, and the whole Tennessee offensive line is out in front of it.
So now Tennessee's looking at a 3rd down and 14, and probably going to be looking at another field goal situation here, unless they can convert on 14 yards here for a 1st down, which would almost be the touchdown. The marker is right at the 1-yard line for the 1st down mark. So it's 3rd down. Fleming is the lone running back. Witten is in motion. They roll, they throw against the grain back here on their left side. It is going to be an easy touchdown for Tennessee. Dante Stallworth, beautiful call by Randy Sanders. 15 yards for the touchdown, and a beautiful move by Dante Stallworth.
I'll tell you, Randy Sanders is starting to hit a comfort zone in his play calling. And as we've talked about, Bob, and I hate to be redundant, but he can do this because he has all of his horses on the field.
It looked like everything was going to flow right. Then Casey stops, goes back, throws to his left. Stallworth is there and carries it in. I got to believe Stallworth would be a tailback if he given the opportunity. This guy's got some good moves, hasn't he?
And he's tough.
Reagan puts it down. Alex Walls puts it up and through, and Tennessee breaks on top 35-7 over the Memphis Tigers. Take another look, Terrence.
And Memphis comes on a blitz, and they do a good job here, Witten, of picking up the blitz, giving Clausen time to get the ball out to Stallworth, and he's got a whole convoy out in front of him, Bob, and it's easy walking from there.
Just a nice seal off by the offensive lineman downfield.
Just a good call, good setup, and boy, what a convoy.
Excellent.
This is the kind of Tennessee football that the fans like, and I like personally because I'm a wide receiver.
Big number 75 down there in your picture was Anthony Herrera, who did a nice job on that one, among others. So Tennessee takes the lead with 5:29 remaining in the 3rd quarter, 35-7 over Memphis. The shadows have fallen over the field now. Still some sunshine in the stands, as you can see. 11 plays, 75 yards, and very important for Tennessee and Coach Fulmer. Took almost 5 minutes off the clock, so they like, coaches, those kind of drives when you have a lead. Just kill as much clock as you can. There's Tommy West looking on, trying to figure out what to do to get his Tigers back into the ball game. Well, one thing they can do would be to come up with a kick return here. Alex Walls gets his foot into it and gets off a nice one all the way down to the 2-yard line. One man missed, the second man did not. Inside the 20, anything inside the 20 is good coverage.
Very good coverage, and the first man there was Cedric Houston, the freshman tailback, but the guy that makes the tackle is Derek Tinsley, another freshman tailback.
Return is out actually to the 12-yard, to the 17-yard line, correction, 17-yard line. And at that point, it'll be first down and 10 to go for Memphis. Wimprine is back in at quarterback. Danny Wimprine, a freshman. Big guy, too, weighs over 200. Not as big as Suber, though, who's almost 240. Rolls to his left. Looks, throws, incomplete. Flag down. Going to be called on Tennessee's Jabari Greer, intended for Perkins. Greer maybe got there a step too quick.
And Greer knows he's guilty, Bob. He's smiling. He just got there a little bit too early.
Pass interference on the defense. The penalty is at the spot of the foul. First and 10.
You heard the call. Big play, as it turns out, for Memphis. Gets them out of what amounted to a pretty good hole, and now they're up with a first down at the 27-yard line. 5:07 remaining in this third quarter of play for the homecoming. And a nice halftime show here, which the fans enjoyed. Wimprine wants to throw, had a man out there, and just led him and Perkins a little too far.
And that's a long throw for Wimprine, especially when you've got Bernard Jackson bearing down on you. That's just a long throw from the other hash, trying to throw it deep out to the opposite side of the field.
First downs, Memphis has got 8, Tennessee 22 on the day, as would be reflected in the score, 35-7 in favor of the Volunteers. It's second down and 10 to go. Wimprine rolls this time, trying to get away from the pressure, fires out here. It's complete to Perkins, and he is knocked down shy of the 30-yard line. Battle, one of the leading defenders that time for Tennessee. They list Perkins as 155 pounds, but he's a tough guy. Doesn't mind catching it in traffic either. Third down and 8. Wimprine goes into the shotgun. Fires quickly. It's incomplete. Receiver was down. Travis Anglin down on his knees. He was not knocked down by Tennessee, just apparently slipped. Gaines was in the neighborhood, actually standing right over him, but it goes as an incompleted pass, and now Memphis will have to turn it over. Gaither will come in to punt. Memphis now on third down, 1 of 7 on the day.
As I talked about earlier, I think they were converting only about 32% on third down, Bob, and again, they can't convert on this drive.
Low snap. Gaither gets his kick away. Baker chases it down, and Memphis did not give him room to catch the football, but there's no flag. He caught it and made a nice twisting move. If that wasn't violating the halo zone, I'd have to see that again, but Baker got away with it and turned it into a pretty nice game.
I thought it would have been a call also, Bob, but they may have said that he was tied up with yes, it tied up with Battle. That may have been a call.
Battle came close to hitting him too, hitting his own man, but I guess it was a good no call by the official. Punt 36 yards. The twisting return was 8 yards by Rashad Baker. Tennessee's in good field position now at the 44-yard line, their own 44. Cedric Houston, the freshman, is in at tailback. Travis Stevens went out of this game a little bit banged up, and I don't think it's anything serious, but I doubt that we'll see him anymore today. Tune in to CSS this Saturday for a full day of college sports. It all kicks off at 12:30 Eastern with Jacksonville State and Troy State, followed by UNLV and Air Force at 3:30. We then turn to the hardwood for Louisiana Tech and Iowa at 8 o'clock. And the day concludes at 10 with a volleyball match featuring Georgia and Tennessee. It's all on CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. Jabari Davis also in now, right?
Also Jabari Davis, and Sean Young is in at left tackle. So Tennessee getting the opportunity to play some of their young players.
A look at the future on the field right now for Tennessee. Here's the handoff to Houston, coming outside, stumbling, and gets up close to the 45. Not much on that one. DeMaurice Shanks made the stop for Memphis. They're going to give him maybe a yard, so it's 2nd down and 9. We've got 3:41 remaining in this quarter. Volunteers go on the road. Memphis has got home games left with Cincinnati and Army. Here's a big hole in the middle. And to the 40. And finally run out of bounds is Cedric Houston, showing you really a glimpse of the future right there.
And Bob, as you said, if this is the future looks really good.
20 yards on the carry.
And this is what the UT coaches have been seeing in practice, Bob. They just needed an opportunity in a football game to give this kid an opportunity. And you see here, he's elusive and he's also a big guy with some speed.
Never got knocked off his feet even after that hit. He's got 27 yards now on 4 carries. They feed it to him again. And again, he finds a hole, and he gets down inside the 30 to about the 26-yard line. That's why he's on a scholarship at the University of Tennessee.
And Houston not used to carrying the ball like this, Bob. After 2 good runs, he has to wait to come off the football field. He's a little winded.
And he's replaced by Derek Tinsley, another freshman who wears number 20. Houston was really heavily recruited by his home state team, Arkansas, but he chose the Vols. Tennessee says, thank goodness for that. Here's Tinsley. He shows his running ability as he gets down to almost the 15-yard line. Derek Tinsley, apparently with a good lead block from Jabari. Huh?
A really good lead block by Jabari Davis. And Jabari Davis is, as you said, he was an All-American tailback, showing how unselfish he is, Bob, making the transition to fullback because that's where they need it.
10 yards on the carry, 1st down and 10 to go. Ball is at the 16-yard line of Memphis. Derek Tinsley, Tennessee getting those freshman running backs now into the game and a chance to show what they can do. And so far, it looks pretty good. This time, though, Memphis racks him up after a pickup of maybe a yard. Glenn Sumter coming up from free safety. Boy, I'm really impressed with that guy. He's a good defensive player.
He is a really good defensive player. And Memphis, Bob, over the last 3 years have had a lot of good defensive players. Off of last year's team, I can remember Marcus Bell on the defensive line. He stopped a lot of things that Tennessee was trying to do.
They've turned out some good secondary people and some great receivers like Isaac Bruce and Copeland and Wright and all those people. This time the play is outside, and into the end zone goes the freshman Derek Tinsley. Big run, big exciting play for Derek Tinsley. 16 yards. Wow, I like the looks of this kid and Houston.
And the thing about Tinsley is, Bob, out of the whole group of freshmen, he's probably the fastest and the most elusive, but he's also the smallest. But he's not 180 now. I think he's about 5 to 10 pounds more than when he really reported to campus, and they think this kid may push up close to 200. And if he can do that, still maintain his speed and agility, boy, will he be a breath of fresh air.
They've already got a commitment from an outstanding running back for next year. Riggs, Gerald Riggs from Chattanooga, has committed to the Vols. Now, of course, signing day is a long ways away, but he has committed.
Delay of game on the offense.
Delay of game is called against Tennessee here, so the extra point will be, in essence, a short field goal for Alex Walls. Tennessee leading 41-7. Tinsley and Houston looking good. Jabari Davis looking good on blocking at fullback. He came in as a tailback, but he's a big guy. Young backs, Tinsley 26, Houston 36, and Fleming has got 38 yards here today. The extra point is up and good. Take another look at the touchdown.
A good block there by Jabari Davis, who just said, and this is all Derek Tinsley. Just give him a leg and take it away. Just old-fashioned running the football. Good block out front here, but as we said, by Jabari Davis and the Tennessee offensive line, and this is Tinsley.
That move is God-given right there.
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't coach that.
You don't coach that. Just a good job of allowing his blockers to get out front, allowing the defenders to start to pursue, and he cuts back.
Well, Tennessee fans have been really wanting to see the young backs in action, and they're getting a dose of them here in the second half against Memphis. 42-7 now. Tennessee leads with 1:32 remaining in the third quarter of play. And I think for that reason, the fans are going to stick around for this entire ball game.
And no break for Derek Tinsley, Bob. He scores a touchdown, and he has to go back out on the kickoff coverage team, where he has seen most of his playing time thus far this year.
Well, you know, there was a time when colleges, and some I guess still do, used to use a lot of reserves. But then you take a look at the NFL, and guys that make $5 million a year are on kickoff teams. So it's very important, you know, to get your best athletes out there. There's the scoring drive. 6 plays, 56 yards, took 2.5 minutes. Tinsley going 16 yards for the capper. Here's Alex Walls. His kick not too deep, but a nice high kick at the 6-yard line. There's that little crease again, and Memphis breaks it out across Harden to the 32 or 3-yard line before he is finally brought down.
Harden upset with himself because nothing that Tennessee did brought him down, Bob. He tripped either on the turf or on his other.
He's got pretty good speed, but he's really quick. That first step is almost at full speed. 27 yards, as a matter of fact, on the return. Rushing, Memphis has got 17 yards. Tennessee one shy of 200. Wimprine got a 3-receiver set, puts one of them in motion. They fake that reverse, and not much there. Tennessee pretty well takes care of Sugar Sanders. They've run the reverse twice in this ball game. They faked it this time and then sent Sanders up into the line of scrimmage, and Tennessee was waiting for him.
And Memphis have tried a number of trick plays today. Tennessee not biting on all of them. Really defending every trick play very well.
Ball is on the 36-yard line. Second down, about 7 yards to go for a first. 3-receiver set in the shotgun. Wimprine rolling out of the pocket, throwing, and it is going to be ruled complete. Nice catch that time by Harden. He was pretty well covered, but he got it right off his shoe tops. Gaines was all over him.
Well covered by Gaines, but as you said, a good catch. And they roll Wimprine, allowing him to get away from the pursuit, Bob, and he makes a throw, and it's a good catch by the wide receiver, a low throw.
Tennessee got a number of second-teamers out there on the field, but they still are capable of getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and Memphis is trying to get out of the pocket and avoid that. Here they roll to the right again, and it's an incomplete pass. They may call interference, and the crowd will not like that. Jeff Cameron, the tight end, was the intended receiver. Campbell, a linebacker, another youngster here at Tennessee with a bright future, is called for the interference.
On the defense.
Frankly, I think this is a bad call.
I don't agree with it, Bob. I think their feet get tangled up. That's why the wide receiver goes down, or the Memphis receiver. Fulmer feeling comfortable, Bob. He's taking his headset off.
There's the penalty situation on the day. Tennessee nailed for 42 yards. Here is the quarterback getting a lot of pressure, got hit just as he threw it. Tennessee got almost intercepted by Julian Battle. There was a collision down there with Jabari Greer, and I think The two actually prevented an interception.
I don't think the Memphis defender, I don't think Bunky Perkins had an opportunity to catch it.
Didn't figure in that at all.
This is between Greer and Battle.
Perkins is just an observer in this whole thing.
Greer with great coverage, Bob. He's in a position to make a play, but he sees Battle coming in, and Coach Fulmer tells Battle, you need to catch that football.
Well, Tennessee was offside that time, but I don't see a flag as Sanders carries the ball up close to midfield. That's the end of the third quarter of play. 2001 homecoming at Neyland Stadium, 107,221 on a gorgeous day, watching the Volunteers, ranked number 4 in the nation in the BCS poll, leading Memphis 42-7. The ball is yard shy of midfield, 49-yard line. And the stats from the third quarter, Tennessee, as the score would indicate, with a big edge. And again, look at the time of possession, Terrence. They're dominating them.
Total dominance by Tennessee, all except for penalties.
Flags go down everywhere. By the way, on third down conversion today, Memphis has been pretty bad, 1 out of 7. Most of that credit would have to go to the Tennessee defense, though, because they have really been in charge in that area. But here apparently is going to be a penalty against the ball.
Offside on the defense. That's a 5-yard penalty. It remains third down.
That's the only thing that I've seen today, Bob, that Tennessee had just penalties have killed them today. They have 7 penalties today, and that's unusual for a Tennessee football team. I take that back. Hadn't killed them because they've got 42 points, but it's unusual for a Tennessee football team.
That's 47 yards in penalties now for it against the Vols. Makes it a 3rd and a short 2. Quarterback is really hit. Got a man wide open, though. Tennessee had a breakdown on that one, and it's complete all the way down to the 10-yard line. Antoine Harden.
And that's the thing about Memphis, Bob. They're so complicated in what they do offensively and the little pick routes that they run with their wide receivers. If you have a busted assignment, there's an opportunity for a big play.
2 yards they needed. They got 36. Take a look. The quarterback gets hit just as he throws the football.
I think from the way went around, it must have been a pump and go, a little out and up, and the defensive back bit on the pump.
Hainsworth was the man who hit him, but he got it away. Tennessee defensive backs were totally out of position on that one. Here is a twisting one down to about the 7-yard line by Sugar Sanders of Memphis. Omari Hand made the hit for Tennessee. So we talked about Memphis being quick strike. Remember, their touchdown came on 60 yards, just 3 plays. And here they come up with a 36-yarder when it looked like Tennessee was going to stop them at midfield and take over after a punt at that point. But big play puts them in position to get on the scoreboard. High snap. This is going to be a chase for the football, and it's recovered by Wimprine. But big loss on the play.
And recovers the third down and long.
A big loss for Memphis, but a heads-up play by Wimprine. If he doesn't get this football, Omari Hand may be off to the races. It's a good job of recovering the football.
Yeah, brought it in with one hand. Boy, I tell you, Wimprine looks almost as big as Suber, doesn't he?
I was going to say, you said Suber's 240. Wimprine, after another year at the training table, he might be close.
Here's a long fade pattern in the end zone, going to be almost intercepted by Tennessee, knocked away. I think Conference USA is going to call another interference here on this one on Jones, perhaps.
That is a late flag.
And I'll have to see that.
Holding on the defense.
Philip Fulmer's leading by a score of 42-7, so he's not really. Let's take another look at it. He's not really critical of the play at this point.
They go back with the little out and up with the pump and go, and
where
is the hole?
There's not even a touch.
If the hole was earlier, the flag was really late.
Well, anyway, it's called. Tennessee trying to feed off the crowd here. Drops Sugar Sanders inside the 10-yard line. Crowd is still unhappy with that call because, of course, they see it on the big screen here.
Let's see if we can see.
That's the last play, the running play with Sugar Sanders. So now it's 2nd down and 8. Crowd asking for Tennessee's defense to stop. They run the option and run out of bounds. Tennessee plays it pretty well. Keon Whiteside ran him out of bounds.
And the Tennessee defense, Bob, determined not to allow Memphis in the end zone here. This is a pride thing here, I tell you.
Well, it's 3rd down and 8. 3rd down and goal at the 8-yard line. Sanders now has 9 carries for 19 yards rushing. Wimbrine goes into the shotgun. Puts Perkins in motion to the bottom of your screen. Throws it. And Tennessee said, not today. Julian Battle all over Antoine Hart. There's the Tennessee safety. Another California connection.
Another California connection. And this is just tough to do for Memphis because Tennessee is in man coverage. So wherever the wide receiver from Memphis goes, wherever Antoine Hart goes, Julian Battle goes. So he takes a step up, takes 2 steps back. Battle comes after him.
All right, what do you have in your playbook on 4th and 10? At the 10-yard line, 4th and goal at the 10 for Memphis. Tennessee defense being really encouraged by the crowd. Wimbrine rolling, throwing the slant, incomplete, batted down. Oh no, another flag.
Another flag, and the ball's not even catchable.
Not close to being catchable. We'll see what the officials have ruled here. You would have to think that the flag was for interference, but we still haven't seen that interference. Maybe we can see something on the replay.
I didn't think if the ball was hit,
I think they're going to run. They must rule this thing uncatchable, surely.
Have to, Bob.
Pass interference on the defense. The ball will be placed at the 2-yard line. 1st and goal.
That's just a bad call. I have to disagree
Officials
with
are
that
determined to get Memphis in the end zone here, I believe. Let's take another look. Just a good defensive play. It's just a horrible call. Tennessee still, they're going to have to call another penalty, I believe, to get in that end zone because Tennessee's really feeding off the crowd right now. And the crowd is really upset. And I think at last Coach Fulmer seemed to say, well, that's enough with the flags.
I don't think Memphis, Bob, and I could be wrong, I don't think they have enough to be able to power it inside against Tennessee. I think they're going to have to throw the football probably with a little trickery.
There's the trick. It worked. They got in on the quarterback keeper. Wimbrine goes in, and this crowd is still in an angry, angry mood. So Memphis now puts up their 13th point with an extra point coming. Tennessee was ready for everything in the middle, but they were not ready for the quarterback keeper going outside. White's kick is up. It's good. And it is now a 42-14 ball game, and this crowd is not going to get over those flags.
Just a keeper here. Wimbrine fakes inside to Sugar Sanders. Bernard Jackson bites on it, and Rashard Baker just not big enough to be able to make this play. I think Bernard Jackson is supposed to be responsible for the quarterback, and he bites on the dive.
that the officials might have an escort out of this place today. Good grief.
They may just be trying to keep the fans in the football game.
Well, they've got them in it. Tennessee leading 42-14 from Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. 11 minutes, 8 seconds remaining in this game on CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast.
Ryan White.
Might ask for an escort out of here myself. Memphis kicker having a little trouble teeing up the football. Thought the official was going to step in and hold it for him for a minute there.
Yeah, they may have helped him a little bit. I don't think they'll go that far.
Here's the kick, and it is a good one. It's going to chase Tennessee deep into the end zone, and there's no chance for Leonard Scott to come out of there. He downs it in the end zone. Tennessee will take over at the 20-yard line, first down and 10 to go. We do have a new quarterback. Joey Matthews will come into the ball game now for Tennessee at quarterback. There's the scoring drive, 14 plays, 67 yards, took 5-12, but we don't know, we haven't figured out how many yards were on penalties in that drive.
But anyway, a good scoring drive by the University of Memphis.
Yes, it was. And it was a good call for the touchdown run by Win Prime. Cedric Houston's the tailback. Joey Matthews is the quarterback now for Tennessee. Matthews hands it off to Houston. Houston trying to get outside. Nothing doing. It's knocked down on the line of scrimmage. If anything, lost a half yard. DeMario Shanks made the stop.
And there you see the freshman in Cedric Houston, Bob. Jabari Davis is taking the defender outside. Houston needs to cut this back inside.
In high school now, he can go outside and outrun anybody.
Exactly. You see his lead out front. He needs to allow the defenders to get outside and find the seam inside. But, of course, as you said, he's still a young back, and he'll learn how to do that.
Close to being a face mask on that one. It'll be second down, about 11 yards to go. This time the freshman pops it straight up the middle and keeps digging. It's Travis Stevens, though, back in there now. And he is up to about the 25-yard line before the stop is made. Kind of surprised to see Travis back in. Didn't expect him anymore today. Obviously, he was shaken up a little bit earlier, but not to any great extent, because there he is. It is kind of a risk putting him back in at this point, but remember, he's trying to climb up the career ladder at Tennessee, and he's waited patiently for his opportunity, so coaches say go for it. Here's the pass in the flat complete. Tennessee got a block, and the flag is down. Probably another penalty against the Vols. Kelly Washington is the receiver here, and the crowd anticipates it against Tennessee, and they're already started the booing.
And I'm going to have
Holding on the offense.
I'm going to have to defend the referees, Bob. There was holding on the Tennessee wide receiver Tony Brown on the screen to Kelly Washington.
We'll replay third down.
Tennessee must be up somewhere around 75 yards at least in penalties, maybe more now. Stevens got 19 carries, 120 yards on the day. Another look.
Watch the hold here by Tony Brown. You see there he's got 2 hands full of jersey. And now you can tell when a guy's guilty, Bob, because the first thing he does, raise both hands.
I didn't touch it. Well, he did. They line up in the shotgun. Matthews is going to throw. He fires. Had his man there for a second in the hands of Kelly Washington. Crowd wants pass interference. There's not a chance in the world that they're going to get that.
The crowd just wants something called in Tennessee's favor.
Yeah.
And Washington runs a good route just behind him, Bob. It's tough to make that catch when your momentum's carrying you in the opposite direction.
It was not interference, obviously, and not called correctly. So, I mean, it was not a interference call that should have been called. Let me correct myself on that.
And Tennessee needs to protect. Memphis may come after this punt.
Colquitt gets it away. They did come after it, and they knocked him down, and they're going to get a roughing penalty, or at least knocking down the kicker. It'll remain to be seen if it's 5 or 15 yards. The ball is going to be caught, and finally the receiver dropped it about the 44-yard line, but there's a marker back here.
Running into the kicker, 5 yards on the receiving team.
Take another look.
Not enough to call roughing the kicker. Oh, and he should go to Hollywood.
Actually, he was blocked into him.
He adds a little bit.
The referee.
Running into the kicker on the receiving team. The penalty is declined. First down.
Tennessee got off a pretty good kick, pretty good coverage, so.
And I think they don't want to take a chance, Bob, of Memphis coming after it again and blocking it.
That would have been not enough for a first, so they just settle for what they've got. And Memphis will take over at their own 44-yard line with 8 minutes and 50 seconds to go. 40-yard punt, 0 return. Tennessee 42, Memphis 14 with 8 minutes and 50 seconds left from Knoxville. A real hard-nosed coach and was a hard-nosed player at Tennessee. Wimprine rolls right, being pressured, throws back to his left. Tennessee waiting for it, a short gain. Tight end Jeff Cameron. Deion Whiteside was the man who made the stop.
And Tennessee,
that's the Tennessee play they scored on. Tennessee scored on that same type play.
Tennessee not being fooled at all. Whiteside does a good job and makes a really good tackle.
Got 5 yards on it. 2nd down and 5. They fake the reverse and send Sugar Sanders into the line of scrimmage for maybe a yard and certainly no more. Right at midfield. Memphis Tigers. We talked earlier about the excitement in Memphis, not only about their pro basketball team down there, but about the University of Memphis basketball team, which is supposed to be extremely good this year. But right now they're concerned about football. Contact is made all over the place. Flags fall. And now we'll have to have the decision. Who instigated this?
You would hope it would go against Memphis because Abreu Franklin is right over the football, Bob. Has no reason to drop offside.
Dead ball, offside on the defense. That's a 5-yard penalty. Makes it 1st and 10.
Dan Brooks, the defensive line coach, he's not going to like that. I mean, he's right over the football.
5 yards against the Volunteers down to the 45-yard line.
And it is on Franklin. And, of course, when he goes, Hainsworth goes.
UT now has been penalized 11 times in this ball game for 80 yards. 11 penalties. Here's the pass complete down to the 25-yard line. Wimprine on a beautiful throw that time to Darren White. 20 yards on the play.
Wimprine with a good throw, and he takes a good shot from Demetrian Beal, but still able to deliver the football. Tennessee in man coverage. Just gets inside of Julian Battle, makes a good throw and a good catch.
Those slant passes have been pretty productive today for Memphis. So there's Battle, who's shaken up on that play and is coming out of the ball game right now. Probably Stephen Marsh will go in, but we'll check on that. Battle looked like he had the wind knocked out of him, and it is Marsh in who replaces him, number 9. Memphis going to put the ball in the air again. Wimprine has got time, throws, got a man down there, but he's out of bounds, incomplete. Had he caught it, he would have been out of bounds. Antoine Harden just a little too strong on that throw from Wimprine. So it brings up now for Memphis, 2nd down and 10. 6:55 remaining in the contest. Tennessee 42-14. They would like defensively to keep Memphis out of the end zone here. Not so much that the ball game is in question, but pride is on the line right now. for Johnny Chavis' defensive unit. Wimprine in the shotgun, throwing. Got a man there. Touchdown, Memphis. Bunky Perkins covered 25 yards. Tennessee having a little bit of a breakdown defensively in the secondary here in the fourth quarter of play. They've given up some big plays, and as a result, Memphis has now put 20 points on the board, and 21 coming up with the extra point.
And this is very upsetting to Philip Fulmer because, Bob, as you know, on December the 1st, and believe me, this is circled, they go up against a football team that throws the ball just like this, but a lot better.
There's no one on the field today in Gaffney's category.
Tennessee just playing man coverage on the outside, and Bunky Perkins does a good job of beating Jabari Greer. Jabari's trying to play the quarterback just a little slow. Just a beautiful throw and a beautiful catch.
Absolutely perfect regular style. White approaches it and gets off a kick. His last one was deep into the end zone, and this one's going to be right at the goal line. Taken by Scott. Still looking for running room, and the speedster gets out across the 20 to about the 23-yard line, where it'll be first down and 10 to go for Tennessee. Take another look at the last Memphis touchdown.
Just a little hesitation by Jabari Greer. He's trying to play the quarterback and a defender, allows Perkins to get behind him, Bob. And as you said, once he's there, he's tough to defend.
23 yards on the return by Tennessee. Joey Matthews operating at quarterback for Tennessee. Casey Clausen out of there with another good day for Clausen. Throwing to a lot of different receivers today, and offensive line gave him a lot of protection. And off to Tinsley, and Tinsley gets a couple of yards before he is dropped. One of the freshman running back that, along with Houston, getting to see quite a bit of action here in the second half of play.
Just a lot of new faces for Tennessee, and a good block there by Jabari Davis. And Derek Tinsley, young back, Bob, he needs to keep that inside. Follow his fullback through the hole.
Second down and about 7 yards to go. Matthews throws it out at the flat, complete. It's going to be a short gain, shy of a first down, intended for and completed to Montrell Jones, who's right at the 30. Needs to go to about the 33 for a first down. So it'll be now 3 yards shy.
We've seen this today. Just play action, fake, wide receiver screen to Montrell Jones. Memphis plays it well. Just nowhere to go for Montrell.
Third down and 3. Tennessee needs a first down here to kind of keep the ball out of Memphis' hands. Their pass defense has not been. They might have gotten the first down on offside here. Memphis obviously made contact, but they're pointing at Tennessee saying motion. Let's see what the official says. Official seems to be just sort of listening to the players. What do you guys think, huh?
There is no foul. Tennessee called for it.
Tennessee called what?
He's frustrated.
Tennessee called timeout before the foul. Timeout.
Well, Tennessee, he says, called timeout before the foul. Tennessee leading 42-21, 5 minutes and 19 seconds remaining in this contest. Homecoming for the Vols in Knoxville. Eastern Conference this year, of course. Tennessee lines up with Matthews in an I formation. One receiver set on each side. Needs 3 yards for a first. And almost had it there. The pass led his receiver a little too far. Leonard Scott was the intended receiver. It would have been enough for a first down had he caught it, but he didn't, so Tennessee will punt. And Memphis will take over with 5 minutes and 14 seconds to go in this ball game.
Just a little quick out there by Joey Matthews. And that's a timing route. And Joey being a backup quarterback and Leonard being a backup wide receiver, and especially being hurt all week, that's a timing thing, and the timing just wasn't there.
Dustin Colquitt, the left footer, will get his kick away. Oh, it's a nice one. Very nice. Good return, though, by Memphis. Almost broke that thing all the way. Ryan Johnson. Crowd apparently thought there was something illegal going on down there, and no flags, though.
They wanted something called. Tad Golden was tied up with one of the. Let's see if we can see it coming in our picture. Oh, block in the back.
Block in the back. 51-yard punt, 17 on the return. If 107,000 saw it.
Oh, and Fulmer's giving the referee he's working them on the sideline.
Wimprine at quarterback. Throws, got a man wide open down the middle. All the way down to the 15-yard line goes Darren White. Tennessee's pass defense has fallen totally apart in the last 5 minutes.
I'll tell you, Bob, one of the concerns that I have for Tennessee going into the Florida game is that I'd like to see them get a secondary or group back there that plays 3 games intact. It's been kind of a patchwork quilt, matching guys together. There, you see Tony Campbell, he's out of position. He's not where he's supposed to be. Memphis comes up with a big play.
49-yard play. And they drive inside the 10. Aaron Meadows. Amari Hand made the stop for Tennessee, but Memphis, we've still got 4:31 to go, and Memphis will try an onside kick probably if they score here.
And this is unusual for Tennessee, Bob, because Tennessee normally dominates the fourth quarter. Now, it may be because, yeah, they have a lot of backups in on offense, and they're not getting the production that they would normally get with their starters, but this is very unusual.
They've had a big letdown in this fourth quarter and a big build-up by Memphis. Here's Wimprine, who's played well, rolling, throwing, just throwing it away because he was being chased down, so he gets rid of the football out of the pocket and away from the tackles outside the tackle box, so you can get rid of the football.
Good pressure up the middle by Albert Hainsworth, forcing him out of pocket. Nothing there. Good coverage in the secondary. Just throws it away. Wisely throws the football away.
And lives to play again. It's 3rd down and 5 now. Of course, for Memphis, this is definitely 4-down territory. Got a 4-receiver package out there. Throws. Got his man at the goal line. He's going to be in for a touchdown. It is Travis Anglin, and Memphis pretty well has dominated this fourth quarter of play. They have put 21 points on the board, and now it's up to 27 and an extra point coming. It'll be a 42-28 game, assuming he makes it. And Tennessee's pass defense in this quarter has been really bad.
And I hate to keep bringing it up, Bob, but December the 1st,
if Memphis lights you up like this, what you're saying is get downfield and score a touchdown. And now they do try the onside kick, and Tennessee fighting for it, and it looks like the Vols have recovered it on the bounce. Jones came up with it right at the sidelines before he went out of bounds, but it was a pretty good play by Memphis.
And oh, what a lucky bounce. Kelly Washington goes up and gets it, and the ball is popped out, and Mark Jones does a good job of recovering.
There's the scoring by quarters. 21 unanswered points right here in the fourth quarter for Memphis. 21 unanswered.
Well, Tennessee has really good luck. Washington goes up and gets it, but the defender pops it out. Jones is in a good position to recover.
Lawson is back in at quarterback, and he's going to be throwing the football. He's got a man there, Dante Stallworth. And Stallworth is down inside the 40 to about the 32 or 3-yard line before he is finally dropped. So Tennessee says enough of that, and they go back with their starting backfield and start throwing the football here.
They do, and a little misdirection here with Clausen. Stallworth comes into the picture there. Just a good throw, good safe catch.
Surprisingly, most of the crowd, I'd say 2/3 of it, still here. Casey's numbers on the day. Whistle, they stopped the play.
That's going to be on Finlayson. Boy, Tennessee has been penalized today.
Pretty close to 100
Dead
yards.
ball, full start on the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
It was pretty obvious on Tennessee, but the crowd is so mad about some of the other calls that they're going to boo everything.
They're booing when he opens his mic.
At the half, North Carolina State 24, Florida State 14.
Tennessee 85 yards in penalties. Then they run the football, and Travis Stevens gets inside the 35 before he is dropped. Now, after they picked up that first down, they probably would be satisfied to run the clock out at this point.
I think that's what they're going to do. I think Philip Fulmer just trying to send a message to his football team that, hey, we played for 60 minutes. It's not over until it's over.
Well, they've had some questions in the secondary here today that will have to be answered. Here's a pass to Stallworth. Sidesteps the defender. He's gone. Touchdown, Tennessee. Dante Stallworth. 35 yards into the end zone. So Tennessee puts a stop to the bleeding. The 21 points unanswered now. They have answered with a touchdown. 48-28.
Just an exceptional play by Dante Stallworth. That's what you call a playmaker.
Alex Walls will attempt the extra point with Seth Reagan holding. Stallworth has 6 catches for 120 yards and 3 touchdowns on the day. This one is up there, and it is good. Tennessee leads 49-28.
Young players early, Bob, they got up. They felt like they had a comfortable enough lead to be able to do so, but Memphis kept playing. And maybe that allowed Memphis to get back into the football game. You saw when Tennessee put their starters back on the field, how easily they moved the football down the field.
Tennessee might look at it as a good lesson. It's a short kickoff to the 15-yard line. And pretty good coverage by the Vols as they drop Ryan Johnson on the 23-yard line, where Memphis will take over with 2 minutes and 13 seconds remaining in this ball game.
It'll be first and 10.
First and 10 at that point for Memphis. I've been impressed with the Wimprine youngster. He's got a great future in Memphis. Memphis got a very young football team and probably going to be very strong next year. Their problem has been in recruiting, I think, and it's a problem for a lot of schools. You can get good skill players. Can you get the big linemen, though? And if you can do that, then you can get in the hunt with anybody.
And I think it's tough for them to do it year in and year out with consistency, Bob. I think that's their problem.
Myers had a man out there, but just overthrew him. Stops the clock at 2:07. I think the coach got this one, huh?
Nice catch by Fulmer. Oh, look at it. Using his hands.
Hands, my goodness. Didn't use the body at all.
They say you lead by example.
There you go. Maybe put him in a defensive back. Here's a complete pass to Perkins. Sidesteps a man, gets all the way up to the 35 and out of bounds right at the 35. Looks like he has enough for a first down.
Boy, Bunky Perkins is just having an exceptional fourth quarter. Just a little quick slant here to Perkins, and whew, he makes Teddy Gaines miss big time.
Casey Clausen has tied a school record with 5 touchdown passes today. He's got 298 yards total on the day. Here's Wimprine throwing. This time nobody's there, and maybe a little miscommunication with the receiver, but he was having tremendous pressure put on him at the time he let go of it. Minute 54 seconds remaining in this contest. Tennessee with one more home game on the road at Kentucky and then back here to play Vanderbilt in their final home game and then down to Florida. Tennessee makes the stop after another completion. This one out to the 45-yard line to Perkins. Eddie Gaines stopped him at that point. But they are completing passes again.
They are completing passes, and Tennessee's trying to put pressure on Wimprine. Just in that shotgun, he's getting rid of the football so quick it's just hard to get to him.
This time they intercept, though, and put a stop to it. It is Rashad Baker saying, I think I'll make a big play, and he did.
You got to believe as many times as they've gone to Bunky Perkins in the fourth quarter, somebody's going to realize, hey, why don't I just cheat to this guy's side? And that's what Rashad Baker does. Wimprine's looking at him all the way. Baker knows that, just in position to make a good play.
Rashad Baker brings Memphis offense to a halt here. Tennessee takes over and should be able to run it out with 1:33 remaining. Volunteers 49, the Tigers 28.
And it's been a tough day for Tennessee's defensive backs, Bob, and they'll take a lot of criticism in the media and from the fans, but they'll have to get better. You got to be able to put those kind of things behind you and look forward to the next challenge.
Lawson pitches back. It is Larkins twisting outside. Got a little bit of yardage, not much, but he did stay in bounds and keeps the clock running at 1:21. Tennessee 49, Memphis 28. Another look.
The sweep to Larkins, and Larkins had the great game against Syracuse. Kind of got lost in the whole stable of Tennessee running backs. But it just shows you the kind of depth that Tennessee has at running back, and all those guys are very young.
That's 5 guys they've run at tailback today down in Fleming. Lawson remains at quarterback, gives off once again to his tailback. Up across the 45. Clock's gone under a minute, down to 44 seconds as Corey Larkins gets up a little bit slowly. Herrera says, shake it off, son.
Herrera says, I've been playing all day. You've been in for 3 plays. You better get up.
Memphis has 23 yards rushing today. UT 215. But Memphis has got a lot of yards through the air. That's why they got 28 points on the board. Give is to Larkins again. He dances around.
And the fans cheer there's going to be a face mask.
I think it's a face mask, but I'm not going to call it until we see the referee make a signal here. 4 seconds to go in the ball game.
Personal foul. Face mask on the defense. That's a 15-yard penalty.
Oops,
Automatic
that's
first
the
and 10.
flagrant holding on and not letting go type call. So it's a 15-yarder, but it doesn't matter. We have only 4 seconds remaining in the contest. We hope you've enjoyed it today. Bob Bell here, Terrence Cleveland, and all the gang in the truck and around the stadium in the press box. We've all certainly enjoyed bringing you the action, and we hope you have enjoyed it. That's it. The clock ticks down now. It's all over. Tennessee has won 49-28. Many good things can be said about Tennessee's performance on homecoming. They played very well for 3 quarters. The pass defense fell apart in the 4th quarter. Some reserves in there, so you can't blame it all on the first team, but still too many completed passes by Memphis. Memphis, on the other hand, is a very young football team, and I think with a pretty bright future, Terrence.
And a very bright future. The thing about it, not as close as the Tennessee